15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Good morning, DA. How are you?
Hello! Hello! Good morning, my neighbor! Get off!
Damon Amendolara.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, buddy.
It's a brand new day. Ain't no clouds hanging over me. Something doesn't feel the same. The rest of my life gonna start today. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The rest of my life gonna start today.
Yeah.
Bing the bang the boom dong boom ding.
Let the big doggy.
DA, great question.
All aboard the dog.
This is why you do what you do. Yo.
Somebody stop me.
Have some fun with your marriage.
I'm coming to you to be fat. Let me be fat.
Look it.
There's so many sickos in this country.
This is facts.
Oink, oink. Ow!
Hot and hurt.
I like pleasuring myself.
This is so dumb.
A little more juice.
What?
I am broken.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The rest of my life gonna start today.
CBS Sports Radio.
Well, as I was saying, I was listening to the radio. I heard something. And what did you hear? A hissing sound like this.
Hey, T.A. Hey, D.A. Let me aboard that mothership.
Permission to board that mothership, sir.
Well, you know I had to slide through the intergalactic swag party. D.A., man, beam me up. What's going on, my brother from another mother? Beam me up. You guys are the best. You guys make it
Permission to board that mothership.
Mothership has connected. And you the man, D.A.
Happy Tuesday to you, North America. The mothership has connected. Welcome aboard. It's the 4-hour Black Hole Block Party. DA with you from the CBS Sports Radio studios in New York City, broadcasting to affiliates nationwide and north of the border. Anchorage to Atlanta, Omaha to Orlando, Kalamazoo, and Waterloo. We are on the air.
They listening, DA. Everything we saying, DA. Everything.
How we doing, everybody? Thanks so much for joining us. Good show lined up for you today. Coming up in 20 minutes, we've got your sound check, your best audio of the day. And DA show legend Paul Rudd is featured.
All right.
Coming up in 40 minutes. The New York Jets are shopping for a quarterback. But if it's not Aaron Rodgers and it's not Derek Carr, who is it? One name won't have Jets fans thrilled. Also, later on in the program, Trash Tuesday. Bring us your trashes. We'll do ours next hour. And in hour number 4, Cordell Stewart's going to join us. We'll talk Super Bowl 57 and the offseason with Slash. Also today, we reassess the Schwartz Super Bowl bingo board because what he displayed on Sunday was as big a shock as the Chiefs coming all the way back from a 10-point deficit. Also today, another decade of DA moment. Do you remember where you were when?
Get on top of the guy and they'll do a lap dance.
That famous drop, the origin of it in Decade of DA, coming up here on the show in hour 4, top of hour 4. But let us begin this morning on the show with a quote that I heard yesterday that I thought really spoke to something interesting about the Super Bowl. Everyone is still talking about that flag on James Bradbury and how it's possible that the Chiefs could score only 7 points offensively in the first half, and then in the second half go touchdown, 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 field goal. And that at halftime, everything was Eagles, and then after the half, it seemed like the Chiefs just put on a masterclass in play calling and execution. How does something like that happen? How do the tables turn that dramatically? And the secret sauce of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in winning 2 Super Bowls in 4 years and going to 3 Super Bowls in that time and being in the AFC Championship game every year for half a decade. How does that happen? And do the Eagles have less of the refs to blame and more about themselves? There was a quote that Patrick Mahomes had that I thought, boy, that really summarizes so much of this. We start with the Chiefs using what the Eagles' strengths are against them. It's where we begin. Your cold open.
We took one of their strengths and kind of used it against them. They do a great job down there where people motion across the formation and try to get guys on the other side. They pass it off well. They communicate well. So we utilized that to kind of to fake like we were going to do it and then break back out the other way. And it kind of got those guys where they were trying to pass it off, and all of a sudden they had the wrong guy guarding the guy that we were throwing to. Obviously, we didn't think it was going to be that open. But we thought we had a good chance to get at least a good positive play, and it worked out well for us. That it worked twice, and we were able to get 2 wide open touchdowns.
I don't believe it! The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending.
It's DA's top story.
Here he goes!
It's your cold open.
That's from the Canty and Carlin podcast. It was so interesting, I thought, when he was talking about how they scored those 2 touchdowns down in the red zone, and those guys were wide open. The 2 touchdowns where there was nobody in the field to play, nobody in the camera shot around the 2 Chiefs receivers. The Eagles were completely bamboozled. And there it was, that the key to this game, or the key to flipping the script on the Eagles after halftime, was using the Eagles' aggressiveness against them. That they saw that the Eagles' corners and linebackers were trying to cheat up close. And when they saw that, being aggressive, defensively getting up on the receivers, they said, well, let's try to run some misdirection so that we can kind of use that momentum and that aggressiveness to kind of shave them off to the side and then get us going the other way, and it's wide open. It pops wide open. And Mahomes would say that on the flag thrown on Bradbury, it was the same thing. That they were trying to use the Eagles' aggressiveness against them, and it came back to bite them there, where they were coming up and they were trying to jam the receivers. But if he had a come and go, and this is what happened with Juju on that play, he stays in, but then he's going to break out. Bradbury comes in for the jam and then is going to lose him, and so he's got to hook him on the hip and grab him a little bit. And Mahomes said, Mahomes is not a guy that usually glosses himself much, but said, yeah, it was a defensive hold that affected the play because I'm not going to miss Juju by that much. And if you saw on that play, I mean, he overthrows the receiver by 5 yards, 6 yards. And Mahomes is like, that's because he's hooked there. That's because it's a penalty. I'm not going to miss that by that much. And he's right. I mean, out of all of the throws Mahomes made to the second half when he was absolutely dialed in, did he miss anybody by as much as he did on the play that they threw the flag on? No. That was by far his most inaccurate throw. I bring this up because I think it's the secret sauce of Andy Reid. It was the secret sauce in this game. It's the secret sauce of the Chiefs' success. Is that Andy Reid is at a moment in time in his career where he's identifying everything that's going on, obviously, leading up to the game. But in the game itself, he's able to say, okay, we take that chess piece and we use our chess piece against it. And in this case, what was the Eagles' greatest strength this season? Playing aggressively. Defensively, they were aggressive. Offensively, they were aggressive. And coaching-wise, they were aggressive. And the Chiefs used it and used their momentum to push them away from plays or to get them in trouble. And it was a brilliant move. And so looking at Sunday's game, I prefer to look at what the winners did well versus blaming the officials. You know, the Eagles, it's one of those old adages, the greatest strength is the greatest weakness. The Eagles' greatest strength was aggressiveness this year. They never took their foot off the gas. But when they had a 10-point lead in the second half, they also kept playing aggressively. And it came back to bite them. Same way that the Atlanta Falcons blew a lead in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan didn't know how to gear down, and Dan Quinn couldn't stop the momentum. And so instead of running the football, playing conservatively, bleeding the clock, what happens? They're throwing, they're getting into long passing downs, they're stopping the clock, they're getting sacked and strip sacked for fumbles back the other way. In Sunday's game, the Eagles couldn't establish the run in the second half. They couldn't do it, and so they couldn't bleed clock. Either they wouldn't do it, they didn't want to do it, or they couldn't do it, but they couldn't bleed the clock. And so ultimately, it gives the Chiefs the opening. They're getting the ball back fast. They're going down the field and scoring. And when they're getting down to the red zone, they've got the plays to use the Eagles' aggressiveness against them. Thought it was a really telltale quote and really interesting about the story of Super Bowl 57. Here's your phone number, 855-212-4CBS, or on Twitter, DA on CBS. I think it's also interesting that the Eagles could lose their coordinators, maybe one of them, maybe two of them, to potential coaching jobs. It looks like their OC, Shane Steichen, is the favorite right now for the Colts job, which, look, I think if you're the Indianapolis Colts, anybody but Jeff Saturday is the right play here. ABJ, anybody but Jeff. Because Steichen at least has risen through the ranks, has been an assistant coach, understands game planning, understands prep work for the upcoming opponent, understands the film study. I mean, Saturday's just kind of flying by the seat of his pants. So Steichen's certainly an unproven commodity as head coach, first-time head coach. I think most people didn't even know his name before maybe this playoff run. But as much of a hand as Sirianni had in the Eagles' offense, Steichen deserves a lot of credit as well because the Eagles' offense was phenomenal all season long. So let's see if he gets that job. Can the Eagles replenish? Because that's a big part of being successful. And let's face it, the Chiefs have really benefited over the years by Eric Bieniemy not leaving. They have really benefited by him not getting a head coaching job. That's a continuity, that's a consistency of messaging, of experience. This worked last time we did it. This didn't work in the Super Bowl. We've got to prepare for this. Long half times. Remember when we used this AFC Championship game, we only had so many seconds left, in the fourth quarter. That really helps. They've been benefited by that. But then the other thing is Jonathan Gannon, their defensive coordinator, has been getting some sniffs as well in Arizona, the two openings that are left in the NFL. It'd be interesting to see how the Eagles can continue if they lose both coordinators. I don't think that's likely, but it's possible. It's possible. I think Anarumo also is getting heavy looks for those jobs as well. So we'll see how the Eagles can bounce back. But as we know historically, losing a Super Bowl, coming back to win the next year is really rare. It has happened, but it is really rare. It's even more rare when you've got a coaching staff that has to plug a lot of holes. But those are good problems to have if you get your assistant coaches plucked, because it means you're having successful seasons. It's one of those things where it's an unfortunate victim of your own success, but you'll take it. To go to Super Bowls, because to lose coordinators because you go to Super Bowls, it's okay. When we come back here on the show, we've got Sound Check, your best audio of the day. And is there a bigger name in DA show lore than Paul Rudd? He's featured as part of Sound Check coming up here next. And Would you get married at halftime of a game? DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
I just felt uncomfortable here. Jacob came in at one point.
Why didn't you coach him up?
Are we doing anything here with me? And I go, you're going to have to speak to DA on that one. I haven't been told anything.
Did you brainstorm anything and bring it to the table on Monday morning?
No, because I didn't know how you wanted to approach it.
Oh, but you didn't ask me either.
I only signed with Sean because he said I'd be his only client, so he cannot help Jacob.
And I'm sorry. I don't mean to pile on. There was some big mark on his face. I couldn't stop looking at him.
I noticed that too.
It's a rash.
From God knows what.
I don't know what's going on there.
Well, let's hope us calling him a bum will encourage him.
A seafood platter for all tonight.
All right, we just spent 10 minutes discussing Jacob Wilkins' future here on the DA show.
No UNC Duke here.
Whether he's a bum, whether he's given up on life, his rash situation. Oh, my God. Come on. And Kaplan now at WatchDA.com has posted a 4-person picture like we're the Brady Bunch with me, Mraz, and Bogish cackling, laughing at a still shot of what appears to be a dead Jacob Wilkins.
It's like Weekend at Bernie's.
Does that not look? He looks dead. What am I supposed to do with that guy, Bilotti?
I don't know. That's it. It's the lowest of the low right now.
What is wrong with
He
us?
looks dead. He looks literally dead, Bilotti. What kind of play can I run? Dead man float with him?
Build him back up.
Build him back up from dead?
Well, there you go. You got to go rock bottom.
There's your start.
Hey, look at this. Look at that. His shoulders are slumped over. He looks like he's got frostbite. What is happening in that picture, Bilotti?
That's not the man that once said is Mraz going to survive, I'll tell you that much.
Is he going to survive that update?
And he didn't like that we didn't call him out for not going to Lions scores either.
Mraz, look at
said
that.
he had something in his pocket. It's an absolute stunner.
Look at that
free trade picture.
Look at that picture.
It's like a movie cover of the story of his life. You know it's going to be a dark drama.
Back
Oh my
sleeve.
God. This is a VH1 Behind the Music. Right when it gets really ugly and really bad and they cut to commercial break and you don't know if that guy's going to survive or not.
Is Jacob going to survive?
Oh, man.
This is the drugs part.
There's been a music change. It's gotten darker.
This is the drugs part of it.
Black and white shot of the drugs, too.
There's just like the siren going over all.
This is the drugs part of Jacob Wilkins Behind the Music. This is a bad spot for him. It's lonely. It's dark. He's almost dead.
Maybe we can get the police audio of them showing up for his wellness check. I found him.
We've located the perp.
An APB for a 32-year-old scruffy white male.
We have found him. It appears to have been passed out in the CBS Sports anchor chair.
He is not homeless. He just looks that way.
A seafood platter for all tonight.
Get him a warm blanket.
Bottle of water or something.
And maybe some Lubriderm from the bathroom for the thing on his face.
That's a long morning of being frozen out and reading Daytona results.
45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends. in 5 seconds.
CBS presents this program in color.
An educated person can't think he's going to get a recruit by strippers coming in.
They can fire you, but they can't eat you.
And they run through our ass like through a tin horn, man, and we could not stop them.
The audio you need to hear. It's DA's Soundcheck.
All right, welcome back. So glad you're with us. You can always listen to the show in podcast form by simply searching The DA Show on your favorite podcast platform. Best of the show or the full 4 hours are available there. We begin with Paul Rudd and his son, Jack, who get interviewed on the field by Fox following the Super Bowl. Paul Rudd grew up in the Kansas City area, big Chiefs fan. And remember, basically his most famous moment is walking by Pete the Body's car after windshield was smashed in by a vagrant and showing compassion and concern. Here's Paul Rudd.
Super Bowl on Fox. We interviewed both of you guys, Paul and Jack Rudd. Paul, another Super Bowl champion.
I can't believe it. That was such a great game, and wow, it all just feels so overwhelming and incredible.
Jack, you were in Miami 3 years ago. You're in Arizona now. How's it feel?
I just want to thank Patrick Mahomes for existing, for putting in all the work, so we can just all enjoy his greatness every week. And I'm so lucky that I'm alive to watch this. And I cannot believe he's a real person. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just can't believe he's a real person.
And we love you, Julian, Darby, and BB. Go Chiefs. Go enjoy.
I couldn't quite tell who was talking there. Was Paul Rudd saying he can't believe his son Jack is a real person?
No, Patrick Mahomes is a real person.
Oh, God.
But Jack sounds exactly like Paul, which
Yeah.
is really confusing, which leads me to this question. Did I actually see Jack Rudd outside of Pete's car and not Paul Rudd?
How old is Jack?
So I had to look this up. I mean, he looks like he's a teenager. He looks a little like Paul, but that voice doesn't match what his current picture looks like.
Wow. Paul Rudd apparently moved to the Kansas City area when he was 10. His mom was a sales manager at TV station KSMO in Kansas City. How about that?
How about that? But where did he live his first 10 years? Is he a little bit of a fraud?
He was born in Passaic, New Jersey.
Oh, come on, Paul.
But I'm not sure if he bounced back and forth and then just settled at 10 o'clock or at 10 years old, rather, in KC, or I'm not sure. It's unclear via Wikipedia.
Here's my question. Paul Rudd, we now know, lives around here where we are in New York City.
Yeah, like probably right down the block.
Do you think Paul's got Sunday ticket, or do you think he just tries to get his Chiefs via Red Zone and clips and watch whatever national game?
He strikes me as a legit fan, and so it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think he probably has Sunday ticket, or he's got the NFL Plus, which you can watch probably all the games on your tablet or something.
But I think you can only watch those games out of market after they've concluded. My only point is, if you are going to be on the field and that big a fan, you better have Sunday ticket if you live out of market.
I trust the Kansas City super fans. You know, I feel like they're legit because you have a Paul Rudd, a Jason Sudeikis,
Melissa Etheridge,
Eric Stonestreet, Rob Riggle. Those are kind of the crew of, and David Koechner, who we had on the show.
Wow, there's a lot of them, all with better Wi-Fi than Weird Wolf's cousin.
And I have a feeling they're all pretty legit. Like, I don't think you wave the Chiefs flag before they were that good. All of those, they were all fans before. They were all public supporters of the Chiefs before Patrick Mahomes. I feel like they probably all get the Sunday ticket if they live out of market.
I would hope that Melissa Etheridge told the DirecTV tech to come through her window.
My guess is a lot of those actors and actresses in LA that really do rep, that there's a lot of people that have Sunday ticket to Los Angeles. Like, that's just a thing that everybody has to have because nobody actually wants to watch the Chargers or Rams.
I hope so. I'm just saying, if you are a big enough fan that you're getting invited on the field, you better have that bill paying out for Sunday ticket.
Yeah. If you get on the field, you better pay the $350 per year for your game. Here's Jabari Smith. Yeah, he's still in the league. Rockets forward, taken to Instagram from his hotel in Philadelphia, telling Eagles fans, shut up.
Hey, man, can y'all just go to sleep, man? Y'all folks lost. And y'all out beating drums, keep me up, man. I'm trying to sleep, man. I got Embiid tomorrow, and y'all up beating drums. Mahomes done. Please just go to sleep, man. Y'all, I know y'all mad. I know. You win some, you lose some, but you live. Y'all making all this noise, man. God.
I said Jabari Smith is still in the NBA. Mraz just said in my ear he was the third pick in last year's draft.
I was waiting for that.
I thought it was Jabari Parker.
I'm like, still in the league?
Yes, he's still in the league. Yes, he's still in the league 6 months after he got drafted in the top 5. I thought it was Jabari Parker.
Fast, rapid plans in the NBA now.
Is Jabari Parker still in the NBA? Is he? What do you think?
I'm going to say yes.
Let's see. He was a Celtic last season.
So he's technically a free agent. He ain't retired.
Yeah, no, he's not retired yet, I guess. Is he still playing this year? No, he's not playing this year.
He might be in a league that Schwartz gets tickets.
Yeah, that's distinctly possible. So, Jabari Smith is in Philly getting ready to play the Sixers, and Eagles fans are being loud after a loss?
Oh, you didn't see this? Yeah,
No.
They took to the streets even after a loss.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Now, that's really just looking for destruction no matter what happens.
Now, it wasn't a huge mass, but there was some destruction. You know, chance of we got robbed, Chiefs suck. And I believe, unless it was pregame, I saw 3 people flip over, I think, their own car.
No. They were flipping over cars after the game?
A car.
I saw one of the cars before the game.
Okay, so maybe that's what I saw.
I think that was pregame because it was daylight.
And it was not a lot of them. It was not a lot. And I got the vibe it was their own car.
Or a police car, doesn't matter. I saw smoke, too. I saw a lot of smoke at some point.
I mean, you shouldn't destroy anything after any game. But if you win, at least you're going out in celebration, climbing poles, jumping up and down, partying. If you're destroying cars and stuff after you lose, that's a real issue. Now you're just looking to destroy things.
Yeah, you're destroying just to destroy. But you know what? I think if you were the Eagle fan and you planned on going out there and you really thought they were going to win, I think you're committed and you just go, well, we lost. Let's go back out there anyway.
Finally, last night at the Mavs game, there was a couple that got married on court at halftime as a follow-up to getting engaged at a Mavs game. And where else would you rather share your nuptials and commit to a lifetime of happiness and loyalty than right in front of Kyrie Irving?
Now, please place the rings on each other's hands and repeat after me. As a sign of my love.
As a sign of my love.
That I have chosen you.
That I have chosen you.
Above all else.
Above all else.
With this ring.
With this ring.
I thee wed.
I thee wed.
By the power vested in me and with 20,000 MFFLs as witnesses, it's my delight to declare you husband and wife. Reed, you may kiss the bride. Mavs fans, please welcome Reed and Ellen Malone.
So, properly, they played the awkward air horn during their vows as they got married. Here's your awkward transition from being engaged to now being legally wed. I've got so many questions here. Do you think that the couple had to pay the Mavs to hold their service, or is this a cheap way out of getting getting a marriage or getting a wedding rather?
I mean, these teams are a business. There's no way they're not taking something out of it. Or maybe it's just, hey, buy a suite for all your guests for the game, and then we'll allow you to do this at halftime.
Again, pretty cheap way to get out of a wedding.
And they had family and stuff on the court. Like, it was lined up in seats looking like their family and friends were there, and they were full-blown dress and tux. So maybe they paid the suite, and the Mavs allowed them to do it.
Number 2. Is there any negotiation that could have happened with any of our wives where they would have agreed to get married at halftime of a basketball game?
Nope.
Oh, God.
There is no possible negotiation.
Nope.
No.
Doesn't even get to negotiation part. It's a flat no.
It's actually like, even if we were serious, I would be laughed at as if I know you're kidding.
I wouldn't even bring it up.
Let's just say you had to bring it up.
I couldn't finish the first sentence.
Before getting a no or getting laughed at?
Either way.
I could be a Maverick that night, and there would be no chance.
And even if I got past the first line of defense, in other words, like, what do you mean a Mavs game? The moment I brought up that not only is it a Mavs game, it's a Mavs game on a Monday night, I think that's where I really get laughed out of the room.
Okay. Pete, you can bring down the music here because this is going to deserve a pretty deep dive. This relationship, or at least the engagement, begins by him proposing at a Mavs game. Right. So that's the start here. You have to have a significant other, a fiance, wife in this instance, who would be okay getting proposed to at a basketball game. Would any of our wives be okay with that?
Nope. No.
No. I was told that several times. I was lucky I got engaged when I did. I still haven't even been told yes. I got an I guess when I got engaged. And that was at a Dave & Buster's.
So you're technically not married.
Right.
I'm probably closest because my wife in college was a huge Kentucky Wildcats basketball fan. Still is a basketball fan, but in college it was like her huge thing to be part of the eruption zone at Rupp Arena. So she was part of all those. It was like the Cameron Crazies.
Right.
So if I proposed to her at a Wildcats game, it would be the only sporting event that she would not slice my carotid artery upon getting the proposal. But I still think if I said, and would you like to get married at halftime of a game, it, again, like you said, like it wouldn't even come off as serious. She would start laughing and be like, well, what are we going to do for dinner? Be like, no. Really, honey, do you want to get married at halftime of this game? And I think the only negotiation would be, you want to save some cash here? It's going to be $2,000 to rent out the luxury suite, and we get them to do the wedding. And, so we get to save thousands of dollars. And maybe there's a half second where it's like, and then after that, it's no chance.
Now, you did have 2 weddings.
I did.
This could have been one of the 2.
Yes.
You could have done basketball game and then traditional. I also think the officiant, by the way, was Mark Followill, the TV voice of the Mavs. So, is it Tom Leach who does Kentucky games?
Yes.
So somebody like that, or Calipari, Tubby Smith, would that have swayed?
Let me tell you how cool my wife is. We were talking about officiant for the service part, right?
Right. The aquatic version.
And we had just watched, I don't know, some sports documentary, which of course I force her to watch.
Jeez.
And she's like, do you think
Poor
you
thing.
Do you think you can get Costas? And I was like, wow, I don't know. I'm like, I know him, but I'm not that close to him. And then we had just had Vern on, and I was like, you know who I think would do it? Vern Lundquist. And at the time was SCC on CBS, and she's like, if you can get Vern to do it, I think we should have Vern do the vows.
Man, that would have been amazing.
I mean, right?
That would have been totally amazing.
But once we started dialing up the cost of just to fly him out, put him up in a hotel, New York City, get him on this boat. It was like, I think the logistics don't really quite work for Vern at this point in his career.
I beg your pardon. That's awful.
So then we just asked a family friend.
Yeah,
But yeah, in terms of maybe if you get a famous broadcaster to do the vows, maybe any of our wives would be more inclined.
You could, I guess. But you're also, like, we've all been married, right? Like, there's the other part of this. This woman needed to show up probably last night in her wedding dress and go through the gates with her ticket. It's not as if there's some kind of bridal suite where she could, like, get ready. And then, oh, by the way, imagine telling a bride as she goes through the biggest moment of her life, hey, listen, they might foul here to end the 2 minutes. Like, we got to get you lined up because we only have exactly 8 minutes to get you on and off the court with everybody. Could you imagine the logistical nightmare of stress of putting a bride through that spot?
Can you step to your left? We got to get the hot dog buns up top.
Yeah. Guys, can you wrap up the vows? Because here comes Luka. He wants to shoot around a little bit before the second half.
Come on. There's no way. And then, again, it's a Monday. You're asking everybody to commit to any wedding on a Monday. Now they're at the game. They're rushing home from work because they didn't take off because they're not taking your wedding seriously.
Although, let's be honest, if you had to go and attend a wedding, doing it at a basketball game, which everything is going to be paid for you, and you're in and out of the service in 8 minutes, that's probably the best wedding you can attend.
You're probably right.
There's no reading of the Psalms. I mean, I've been to some weddings where you're in that church for like 2.5 hours for the service.
And you always hear the excuse, too, when the people get married. I had to do it for my parents.
Yeah.
Enough of your parents.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, well, could your parents deal with 90 minutes in the church instead of 2.5 hours?
Right. Yeah, because then I get uncomfortable giggles. I start laughing. I'm the bad guy.
This is the best wedding ever, though, if you want to get just bang in and out.
Yeah, I mean, but again, aren't you looking for an after party at 9:30 local time when the game ends and it's a Monday? What are you going to go to Hooters outside the American Airlines Arena after the game?
A Monday night at a bar somewhere around American Airlines Arena is the after
and there's not
party.
many. I've been over there. I mean, it's basically Hooters and Wild Wings. You got your choice.
Unlimited beer and brats.
Well, this couple is quite amazing. Engaged at a Mavs game, married at a Mavs game.
I'm just going to tell you, too, Cap, I didn't really notice Cap just did the twirl around video. That guy outkicked his coverage, man. She is.
What's the, quote, twirl around video?
When they do a quick first dance, she
at
is.
Halftime of the Mavs game,
they did a little dance, yeah.
Wow. They played a first dance. Was her dad there?
She's hot. Wow. I can't take my eyes off this girl.
She's a bad girl, Dave.
I can't take my eyes off this
Yeah,
girl.
I mean, she seems to be too attractive to be willing to get married at a Mavs game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I expect a girl with pork rind crumbs all over her dress if you're going to get married at a Mavs game. This girl's stunningly beautiful.
Pork rind crumbs. Do you know a lot of women like that?
Yeah.
That have pork rind crumbs all over them?
They openly pass gas as they walk through a supermarket. Instead, I got this girl looks like she could be a model.
Okay. All right. AB has headlines. I'm wondering, is it even worth posing the poll question? Do you think you could convince your significant other to get married at halftime of a basketball game?
Well, I'm curious if it's anything other than 100-0.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, would anybody say yes?
I mean, I'm even thinking like Bridget likes 90s Knicks and
Okay.
90s NBA. If I had like Patrick Ewing at the wedding, even then,
Okay.
it wouldn't be. She would say no.
If we
Specific
could,
genre of NBA Bridget likes.
if we get Herb Williams to officiate the wedding, would she be in?
Or Jeff Van Gundy.
Bridget breaking down the wedding with Pete. I don't like they took away the hand check. I can't.
This ain't basketball anymore, Pete. Here comes Hubert Davis with the ring. All right, AB, what do we got?
We've got headlines sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Let's begin with college basketball. Number 6, Texas, losing at Texas Tech 74-67. Ninth-ranked Baylor beat West Virginia 79-67. Number 15, Miami, an 80-72 victory at North Carolina. The Hurricanes have won 5 in a row, but the lead story, 2 of them from college athletics. Michigan State has canceled all classes and activities for the next 48 hours. That includes tomorrow's men's basketball game with Minnesota following a mass shooting on campus last night. 3 were killed, 5 others injured. The 43-year-old alleged shooter took his own life after a manhunt. Police say he has no affiliation with the university. We also have New Mexico State men's basketball canceling the rest of its season because of serious hazing allegations. The WAC has now decided that the Aggies' remaining 6 games are simply forfeits, no scheduling adjustments being made. A redacted police report says 3 players physically and sexually assaulted a teammate multiple times. This on the heels of a player being involved in a fatal shooting back in December, after which staff members might have tampered with evidence. Let's go to the NBA, where the Blazers hit 23 threes to down the Lakers 127-115. LeBron still hasn't played since setting the scoring mark because of a sore left ankle. The T-Wolves spoiled Kyrie Irving's home debut 124-121 in that game in Dallas. Kyrie did score 36, including 26 in the fourth quarter. The Pelicans 103-100 winners in OKC, and the Sixers took care of the Rockets 123-104. James Harden 28 points, 10 assists. In Miami, too much Nikola Jokic.
Brown has it, bottom part of the midcourt circle. He gets a pick from Nikola Jokic, throws it off over to Joker behind the free throw line. Guarded by Adebayo. Puts it on the floor. Backs down Adebayo. Beat him off. The layup is up and in. You just can't stop him.
Jason Kosmicki on Nuggets Radio. Jokic hit 12 of 14 shots, scored 27 with 12 rebounds and 8 assists in Denver's 112-108 win. The Heat had won 8 in a row at home. The Warriors expect Gary Payton II to miss at least a month with the abdominal injury that almost canceled last week's 4-team trade. The NBA is still investigating if the Blazers withheld medical info from Golden State. Baseball's keeping the free base runner on second for extra innings rule for good, the Joint Competition Committee with unanimous approval, but they are tweaking the rules for position players pitching. The trailing team can do it whenever they're down by 8 runs or more. You have to be winning by 10 plus in the 9th to do it, but position players can pitch at any point during extra innings. The Buffalo Sabres losing streak hit 4-5-2 in L.A.
So we have a quit rule now in baseball.
Yeah, indirectly. And I didn't realize that there were rules, period, for when you can do this, but there are, and now they're a little bit different.
And you have to be down by how many runs?
If you're down by 8 or more, no matter what inning it is, you can use a position player to pitch. If you're winning, it's got to be a 10. You have to be up by 10 or more in the 9th. So your last 3 outs can be thrown by a position player.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're getting hammered, they give you a quicker out. If you're winning and you want to protect your bullpen, you got to go a little longer before you start mailing it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get down with that.
If we've already gotten to that, though, can't we agree to end the game?
I mean, it makes sense except for the fact that everyone needs to play. Everyone needs at-bats. Everybody needs innings. Those things matter in terms of
I think it only matters in they have people in the gate and they want them buying merchandise and sitting there. I don't think it matters
but at-bats matter. Those are counting things for service and for stats and for records. You need at-bats.
I mean, I think we could live with 1 or 2 less at-bats because you got blown out in a game, but okay.
Here's an idea. How about managing the team better?
Well, that doesn't necessarily solve all problems either.
Yes, it does. I mean, manage your bullpen correctly. Have a long guy for those spots. That's it.
No, I mean, but
says a manager allowed us to have a blackout.
Right. I was going to let a donkey walk through here. Sometimes the people you're in charge of make mistakes. Finally, Northeastern beat Harvard 3-2 in a shootout to win its 4th Beanpot in 5 seasons. College hockey usually doesn't have a shootout in regular season action, so both teams get a tie.
What if you're down by 10?
Record. Different story. Then Pete hates you, and you should fire your coach.
Manage better. What's the problem with that?
Because you've watched a bazillion games. I mean, the Mets have lost by 13 runs, and you love Buck Showalter. It's not just the manager being bad.
There should be a guy that's a mop-up guy in the pen, ready to work the whole rest of the game.
That's a different idea. And fire the manager.
How about this idea? Kind of like an emergency quarterback, you have one emergency long reliever that once you get down by 10, he can't be used in any other situation. He can only be used if you're down by 10 or up by 10, and then he has to go the rest of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's an emergency pitcher.
No, here's my thing. You have to have a 26-man roster right now, right? You can't have more than 14 pitchers, I think, active. The guys who are not starting, your other 4 starting pitchers, they should be inactive, and then you can have more relievers in the bullpen to get you through multiple games.
That's a great idea.
So it's the same number of active players, but people who actually all can pitch in a game.
I don't need
any game?
Yeah, it's like the NBA does. You've got 15 guys, but only 12 get a jersey.
Right.
So and same thing in football. So I've got 30 guys with me, but now I have active arms in the bullpen. Not one of those days where, I used 6 guys yesterday. Now I got nobody for today.
There needs to be parameters, so you're not going to all 10 of them.
Exactly, because that's the thing that baseball wants to get away from, having the parade of bullpen arms.
But what's worse, that or having your second baseman pitch garbage innings in a game because you got nobody else to throw on?
But you only see the second baseman throw garbage innings twice a season. A manager could use the extra 4 arms in a bullpen every night.
Sure, but I still think that's better.
Okay, split. Here's what you do. The next day's pitcher's inactive. Next day's pitcher's inactive for the day before, and that's where you put your emergency pitcher.
Or like once a guy is inactive, he's got to be inactive for a couple of days, so you can't be moving him back and forth every single time. But I think that if you have more guys who can pitch every day, then you're going to not have the scenarios where a manager goes, I'm out of arms. Here comes Rafael Santana from shortstop to get my last 6 outs.
I guess it's not that important anyway because we rarely see position players throw.
But except, though, that it happened 132 times last year and happened 32 as of 5 seasons ago.
Ridiculous.
Wow,
Yes.
132?
There was 132 position
It happened. It became a strategic thing last year. It was insane.
I thought it was more, to be honest with you.
Yep. It happened 132 times last year.
Wait till you hear who made the All-Star game.
I mean, really? Did the Stars change their logo? Where have I been?
What position is Mike Madonna playing now?
Jabari Smith is still in the league? Man, you learn something new every day on this show. When we come back, Jets fans won't be happy with the latest quarterback linked to their team. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
And because Gloria is so catchy, we've been playing this so much on the show, we've had listeners actually send us renditions. This is Bob in Minnesota who sent us his Gloria.
And you really don't remember, was it something that he said, or the voices in your head calling Gloria, Gloria? Don't you think you're falling? If everybody wants you, why isn't anybody calling? You don't have to answer. Leave them hanging on the line. Oh, calling Gloria.
That was excellent.
No.
That
now
was great.
Somebody else could produce the show last hour and a half. Bob, a caller Bob.
Yeah.
That was clearly Huge Freeze. We know his voice. And you can't even think of another unique name, but you go the other version of Rob. I'm furious now. No, I'm furious now. You did this to me on my birthday, looping him in with the mic on, and now you tell me a caller Bob put the Twitter in? This show's become a damn farce.
That was an email that I got sent to me, okay, from a Bob in Minnesota.
I want to see the email in the break.
Fine.
Bob and yeah. Same fan of the Gophers. You're finding ways to get Huge Freeze on the show, and I've had it.
No, wait a
played
second.
his little bit there with Taz. That was enough for the day.
Wait a second. He is not live on the show. It's like playing a drop, even if it was him.
But if it wasn't wrong, then why didn't you say I had Huge Freeze record this?
I don't know that it was.
You just said it wasn't live on the show.
I got an email.
Enough with the email. The show's a farce. It's an absolute farce. Is the guy banned or not? He was banned. He lost the pick contest. And now you're having him. You know you texted him. You know you did. You know you did, Damon. You know you had him record this. Enough. Somebody's got to stand up for the integrity of the show, and it's going to be me. The man is banned, and you're playing him singing a stupid song because you ain't enough. Enough. You did it on my birthday, and now you're spitting in my face. You're spitting directly in between both my eyes right now.
I cannot verify that was even anybody that I know.
Bob in Minnesota, right? What happened to Greg in Tampa? You purposely toting around there, sending the hints. And I didn't see it coming. That really ticks me off. I should have prefaced it. I should have listened. So you know what? I blame myself. I should have listened and preview. But what happened on this show now is a disgrace. Somebody is banned. They're banned. Okay? I was banned from the PGP forever. Forever. Why? Because I burped once?
Not forever.
No.
It was a 2-week ban.
2-week ban. But you know what? You didn't loophole me back in for those 2 weeks. The PGP survived. Yet this show can't survive without Huge singing a song. Enough. Bob in Minnesota.
Get him out.
Get him out.
First of all,
Get him out.
First of all, I don't even know who that was. That was an email sent to me from an anonymous address. I'll show you the email. Number 2, if it was Huge Freeze, or it was not, was that a good rendition?
No, it sucked.
I thought it was decent. Bogish?
I liked it. Acoustic. I liked it.
Pete the Body Bilotti?
It was on a bad line.
Good. You know what? Between the three of you guys, try cutting the epic fail for the end of the show. Because I've had it now. Had it. That's wrong. A man is banned. You don't let him come through with anonymous. You should have listened and know that sounded like him if you're telling the truth.
Well, it didn't sound like him to me.
It didn't sound like him to you?
No, play some of that. It doesn't sound like
No, we're not gonna
anybody
play
that I know. It doesn't sound like
And
anybody.
you really don't remember. Was it something that he said?
I mean, I hear the Minnesota
All
accent.
the voices in your head calling Gloria.
That does not sound like anybody that I know.
That dude's from Minnesota, somewhere in the upper Midwest.
Gloria.
Robbie doesn't have that range. He doesn't have
he
that.
doesn't.
No,
That's not him.
no.
It's an absolute disgrace.
Gloria.
I have an idea. I don't like when you guys fight. I think we should sit down. I'll do my update, take a break. Let's come back. Let's have Klondike Thursday.
Huh.
Everyone will feel better about things.
Well, we can't do that because Mraz didn't bring in the Klondike today.
Oh.
Have Huge bring it in. Yeah, he could just waltz in here whenever he wants. You know what? Have Huge create an email account.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
That's just the feeling I get. That's just, when I.
The DA Show on CBS Sports Radio.
Today, Junior. Welcome back, DA, with you here on CBS Sports Radio. We appreciate you being with us.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Fun with audio. That was like a duel. Me versus Pete. Who would break first? He broke me.
Okay.
Watch us at watchda.com. Watch us on Twitch. Watch us on YouTube. So the Jets have hired a guy that has connections to a quarterback that maybe they are targeting, hiring former Titans offensive coordinator Todd Downing as their passing game coordinator. Downing will work under Nathaniel Hackett. Hackett was Aaron Rodgers' OC in Green Bay. Who is Todd Downing? Downing spent 4 years with the Titans, the last 2 as offensive coordinator. And so, as Aaron Rodgers goes into the darkness today for the next 4 days to decide, apparently, what he wants to do. Looks like Derek Carr could land in New Orleans by the end of the day, potentially. It would mean that perhaps if Rodgers isn't a Jet, and Carr isn't a Jet, and you hire the Titans' former offensive coordinator, the Jets are targeting Ryan Tannehill? Oh, no.
I want him.
No. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
And I believe Downing was the guy who got pegged off the plane home from Lambeau with the Dewey.
Really?
That's why he's available. The Titans had to cut him loose. Remember the OC that got in trouble because they were drinking too much on the plane, and the NFL had to stop showing Heineke drinking the Busch Lights after that?
Oh, no. So the Jets could not only be trying to land Ryan Tannehill, but also the OC that got a DUI on the way home?
Yeah, it was him. DUI. That was the guy.
Oh, God, no.
Come on.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. More on the Derek Carr situation because by the end of the day, looks like the Raiders are going to cut him loose, make him a free agent. So how quickly does he sign with another team? When we come back here on the show, Super Bowl audience numbers are in. I think you might be surprised at where this ranks all time in terms of TV numbers. Next. You guys, the listeners, I expected at least you to defend me, at least be on my side. Eminem tweets, Mraz is Gloria, smokes your Whitney. Hashtag give me Gloria. And Kaz and Wisco tweets, DA, leave the singing to Mraz. At least he's an enjoyable, awful singer. I don't see how you can call Mraz enjoyable. His Gloria was disgraceful. It was so embarrassing. It's the only thing that made it entertaining why we kept playing it, because it was so embarrassing to him.
Oh, calling. Oh, calling Gloria.
That's just wailing. That's just screeching and screaming and wailing.
And you really don't remember.
And it could be wailing like WHALING, not just WAILING. It's awful. It's ugly. It's grotesque. And by the way, Mraz sang Gloria for 2.5 minutes that day. I sang Whitney for about 13 seconds, less, 5. And you want me to step aside from Mraz's impersonation? I'm sick and tired of this bullying thing that's happening on the DA show.
Call it Gloria! Gloria!
And I blame myself. I blame myself because I have cultivated a culture of backbiting, sniping, of taking shots at one another. I really have. I've stirred the pot for long enough, looking for everybody to fight amongst one another and to be empowered to take shots like a kangaroo court, and now it's coming back at me. So I deserve this.
You sound cranky. Are you tired from working Friday and Monday?
Oh, man.
Thanks
Bogues.
for joining in, guys.
Bogues.
Yeah.
I know that you said that you might be taking off plenty of days during the fall.
This is true, yes.
You said you have so many days
Let
you
me
don't even know what to do
with it, yeah.
Yeah, you said
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
You're going to have to take off so many days to get your vacation that you probably just take the entire week between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, maybe the full 2 weeks. We never know.
2 weeks.
Yeah. But I was told today I need to tell Pete by tomorrow what my holiday plans are.
It's not true.
Well, we have hit Labor Day, so I hope you have your 2020 vacation days in.
Already mapped out.
Let's go.
And I just want you to know that I'll be working 6 days a week from here until January 1st.
That seems like a lot.
2025.
Good thing you only worked 4-day weeks for the last 3 months.
Well, look, we all have the same days to move around the chessboard.
How many hours are you working each of those days on the 6 days? I don't know. I meet Pete and Bogus here 8 hours. I'm just curious how many hours you're here those days.
Okay, fine. I got it.
I'm probably here 3 hours before you even wake up. So,
do you see the initials on this screen? Do you see the initials on the back of that wall?
And on the back of the monitor and the weird dude behind you?
Do you see this cartoon with the flowing hair and the oversized smile? That ain't you, it ain't you, it ain't you. I just want that known around here, okay? This train runs because of me.
I feel like your innocence slipping away. Don't you believe it's coming back soon? Gloria.
Again, it exists because of me. Mraz would still be pushing buttons as a part-timer over there on the fan.
I probably should be, to be fair.
All right? But a lot of you be stuck on another 3 shows that the hosts hated one another. Right, Bogus? You would have been frozen out by 13 different morning show hosts by now.
15.
Okay? 15. So I just want you guys to know how good you have it.
The graveyard of morning shows is a whole great story in this place.
Those initials back there, they pay your bills. Whereas you just bought a foreclosure house.
$30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Mornings are hard. Your sports radio show doesn't have to be.
I'm so happy you guys are still alive.
I am excited.
I am so happy. Laugh and learn every morning aboard the mothership.
Ooh. Have a good day. And all my homies gonna ride today. And all these mommies look fly today. And all we wanna do is get by today. Hey, we're gonna have a good day.
It's gonna be a good day with DA.
Hey, duh.
I do love the duh.
Happy being alive day.
Mornings on CBS Sports Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy being alive day, everybody. It's a Trash Tuesday, so what's bugging you? Let's take out the trash, shall we? We'll do that in 20 minutes. In 40 minutes, the passing of what was once the, quote, dirtiest player in the NFL. We'll do that coming up this hour on the show. Next hour on the show, was Rihanna to blame for the slick surface at the Super Bowl? And in hour number 4, we've got the decade of DA. Remember the sex therapist?
Get on top of the guy and they'll do a lap dance.
That was a whole thing. Plus, we will reconfigure our Schwartz Super Bingo board. We were going to play Schwartz Super Bingo today. However, huge plot twist. We went only 9 of 25 in guessing items as part of his Super Bowl spread. Only 9 of 25. So we missed on 16 items, which is a pathetic showing. I mean, we might as well be the Broncos of the 80s in the Super Bowl.
DA, do you like gummy bears?
Not as pathetic as his literal showing, which we'll get to.
Which we will get to next hour. So I saw this story, and when I first read it, I said, this has got to be wrong. That Sunday's game was the 3rd most watched television show in history. And I'm like, well, maybe the 3rd most watched Super Bowl. Even that would surprise me. But the 3rd most watched television show, come on. And what did I immediately go to? The MASH final episode. I'm like, isn't that the most watched TV show ever? Which I didn't realize this. 2.5-hour episode. It was basically a film. It was a movie as the final episode of MASH.
Stick to who you are.
And I looked this up. I'm thinking there's no way Sunday's Super Bowl outpaced the final episode of MASH. And sure enough, Sunday's Super Bowl had 113 million people that watched. And the final episode of MASH had 107 million people. Now, to be fair, that was 1983, smaller population, so a larger percentage of America watched final episode of MASH, but that this actually had more viewers. Now, the reason I bring this up is because in terms of the landscape of television viewing and event viewing, we have hemorrhaged audience over the course of time. People have more options. They can watch on demand. They're on their phone. They'd rather just watch whatever they want to watch on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or what have you. And you just don't get numbers the same way you used to. The Oscars don't rate the same way. Final episodes of TV shows don't rate the same way. Big events. I mean, the All-Star game of Major League Baseball, the NBA Finals, nothing rates the same way it did, even in sports, as it did 30 years ago, because once upon a time, 40 years ago, there was 3 or 4 channels. You didn't have anything else to watch besides 3 or 4 channels, and there was no phone, and there was no internet. So all of America is simply split between 3 options. It's like, are you watching the Super Bowl, or are you watching whatever made-for-TV movie is on ABC? It's like, are you watching Laverne and Shirley, or are you watching, the other sitcom? Like, that's the only thing that there is to watch. So you got to. So that's just why in today's day and age with streaming and all of this stuff, that just numbers dwindle for television. So I saw this number and said, could it be that Sunday's game was the 3rd most watched Super Bowl, let alone television show ever? And sure enough, it is. Now, again, population increases, so you have more people to watch games today than you did 30, 40, 50 years ago. But look at the top 3 most watched television shows of all time. They're all Super Bowls, and they're all Super Bowls in the last decade. It wasn't a Cowboys-Steelers game in 1978. The highest rated Super Bowl ever was Patriots-Seahawks. That was the 2014 season. That's the Malcolm Butler interception. The second most was the Patriots and Falcons, the 2016 season, the huge comeback. And then third was this game. So my theories on this, I think when it comes to, by the time we got to 2014 and 2016, the Patriots had become such huge celebrity brand that if you knew football, you knew Tom Brady. Even if you didn't know football, you knew Tom Brady. Belichick, the Patriots, and Brady in Super Bowls were an automatic tune-in. But for the Seahawks, you had the defending Super Bowl champs that had come off, and Mraz, correct me if I'm wrong, the Michael Crabtree, Richard Sherman screaming at Aaron Andrews was the precursor to that Super Bowl for the Seahawks, not the first one, right?
I thought it was the first one, but now I do have to double check because now I'm even second-guessing myself.
Okay, check that, because then my assumption would be that him screaming at Aaron Andrews led for 2 weeks of coverage of the Seahawks going into the Super Bowl and playing Tom Brady and the Patriots, and they were defending Super Bowl champs, and this felt like an enormous clash of the Titans. And you're right, actually. It was the first Super Bowl because the second one was their big comeback against the Packers when they won in overtime to play the Patriots.
Right. Seahawks fans call that play the Immaculate Deflection.
Right. That was the first. You're right. So this game, though, even without the Richard Sherman hype train, was defending Super Bowl champs, Legion of Boom, brash, loud, taking on Brady, the Patriots, and it turned into an enormous game, like a great game in the middle of it. So that helps your audience as well. If somebody's not watching the first quarter or the second quarter and somebody's like, hey, you got to watch the game, this is a classic, the Patriots are coming back, people can then tune in. Keeps the audience around, and audiences always build late in a game because, you might do something else, but you want to be in front of the TV for the fourth quarter of a close game.
And that was also the return of the Patriots and Brady back to the Super Bowl first time in a couple of years.
Correct. That was 2014, but they had been there in 2011. But anyway, then the second most is the huge comeback against the Falcons. I don't think the Falcons are a huge draw, but when you're up 28-3, everyone goes, oh my God, can you believe the Patriots are getting blown out in the Super Bowl? And then the comeback happens, and all of America is seizing to the TV to be like, wait a second, they came back, they're coming back, what's going on? And so you can understand that. But Sunday's game, I think Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Chiefs have now supplanted what the Patriots were, or at least have filled that void of, you got to watch them now. that now they've done it consistently enough to where your general casual football fan or sports fan knows Mahomes, knows Andy Reid, knows the Chiefs, knows they're supposed to be good, knows they're supposed to be exciting, and now they're going to become the it thing when they're in Super Bowls. You got to watch the Chiefs. You got to watch Patrick Mahomes. And again, it was a classic. That's the three common elements here are that all three games were great games. So as your audience peaks in the third and fourth quarters, you've got a great game to watch, and the audience is coming to you. But larger point is simply, in a day and age of everything being diminished in terms of numbers of people watching things, you can't beat football. The top 100 most watched television shows of 2022. 100 highest rated television shows of 2022. 80 of the 100 were NFL games. 80 of the 100. And then there were college football games in there. You simply cannot beat football. And the NFL is a runaway freight train. There is nothing that can stop it. It's insane. There's nothing that can stop it. And not to get too dark, but I know when following the Damar Hamlin injury, there was a talking point of, would this be the thing that severs the interest in NFL love if a guy died on the field? And you say to yourself, well, yeah, there'd be a lot of people uncomfortable watching football if a guy they saw died on the field. I don't say this to be crass or heartless. I don't know. I think it is so impervious. I think the NFL is just impervious to criticism, to poor officiating, to distractions, to criminality off the football field, and I bring up, off the field stuff because most of the guys are really good guys, but just that we've had the Ray Rice situation or the Greg Hardy situation, and those things do happen, and I just don't think it'll ever be enough. I mean, people go back to Colin Kaepernick if they disagreed with Colin Kaepernick's stance, and they say, well, this is why people don't watch football. I got news for you. People won't ever stop watching football. It doesn't matter. Like, there could be a blip for a reason here, a reason there. People might go away for a season, 2 seasons, and I'm sure whenever I talk about something like this, somebody calls up or tweets at me and says, DA, I stopped watching. And that's fine. There's a couple of you that have. People tell me this all the time about the strike in baseball in 94. I never came back, and that's fine. I'm not saying those people don't exist. There ain't enough of them. So there's just not enough people that stopped watching football for any of those reasons to affect it. It's just amazing. It's just kind of mind-blowing in that we can't agree on anything in America. Everything is polarized. People are angry about everything. In fact, one of the dumbest talking points I've ever heard, but it's 2023 in America, so of course it's going to happen, is the NFL rigged? And this is now like a common talking point. Okay, if it's rigged, why did 113 million people watch this game on Sunday? If you really think it's rigged, then I guess you just love wrestling. It's like people say it, but they don't really believe it. I was at a bar 2 weeks ago with a bunch of buddies of mine, and one of them's like, after the AFC Championship game, I'll tell you what I think. I think the NFL's rigged. I said, just stop right there. We can have takes about the NFL all you want. You tell me about Joe Burrow, tell me about Patrick Mahomes, tell you about the Eagles, that's fine. Once you say, I think the NFL is rigged, you become the stupidest person in this room, and I'm not talking to you. Because if you really believe that, then you'd stop watching football. But I know you'll be watching the Super Bowl. If you really believe that, then you would just become a WWE fan or an AEW fan and go into scripted stuff, and you would just leave sports altogether, because then what's the fun if you believe it's rigged? But you don't. You just say that because you're angry and you think the officiating sucks. That is it's the easiest fraud alert ever. I think it's rigged. Well, then why did a third of the country, more than that, why does everybody watch the Super Bowl every year? For Rihanna? It's impervious. It's impossible to defeat. The other thing that's impossible to defeat is Mraz with wings. This morning, 6:13 in the morning, Mraz is sucking down wings. It was a sight to behold. Are those leftover super wings?
Yeah, I had to go through the fridge. What were you getting over leftovers? I had some bourbon-flavored wings, and I had a choice this morning. Do I take the banana to eat on my ride home, or do I take the wings to eat on my ride home? I just threw 10 wings in a Tupperware to take for my ride home today.
And your ride home would usually happen between 11 a.m. and noon.
Yeah, so I figured that would be my lunch.
And so it didn't make the ride home.
It did not.
It didn't even make the end of the show. It didn't make the second hour.
No.
All 10 of them down.
So what happened was I got a little hungrier than I usually do this early.
Mm-hmm.
And when I opened up my bag to take my headphones out at 6, I got hit with a pungent smell of bourbon chickeny wings. And I said to myself, these ain't making it until 11 noon. So, yeah, I ate them. So was my breakfast. Now my breakfast becomes my lunch. What is it to everybody else? I can't eat when you want to be stuffing ravioli down your face at 9. Now I can't have wings at 9 at 6.
Hey, you can do whatever you want.
Hey,
I'm just saying that when I ate, it was shrimp fra diavolo
Get it right.
At 9:15 of the morning a couple weeks back. It became, we have to have an intervention for DA. Okay, it was, can you believe how much he's eating so early? You just buried 10 wings in the 6 o'clock hour.
Holy apples to oranges, Batman.
First 2 segments.
You're a thin man approaching your mid-40s. You are somebody we care about, and that doesn't strike us as somebody that would be having Fra Diavolo. And when you go down a dark road, you need to understand the ramifications if there's no turning back. I went down a dark road a long time ago. You could put me in food rehab if you wanted to. It ain't going to work. It is what it is.
Okay. So is this cause for concern that you buried 10 wings at 6:15 in the morning?
I would argue turn it into a positive. Did I pair it with French fries or anything, or did I just have the wings? Okay? Did I have hot sauce, spicy stuff that may affect my stomach, which led to reasons I was out last week for a day? No, it did not. I went with a sweet sauce. Number 3, they were grilled. They're chicken. It's actually not as unhealthy as you think.
So they weren't fried wings?
No.
That's good.
No. I ordered them grilled, so they were delicious. And, yeah, and also... Credit me for this. Not a food waster. Didn't throw them out. There are, hungry people everywhere. I was hungry. I ate
not
them.
saying you're going to go throw them out. You're going to have them on the way home. You have a shake for breakfast.
Now I have it on the way home. And some would argue that if you're going to eat anything that might be viewed as unhealthy, the earlier in the day you do it so you have more time to burn it is better. So if I checked all the boxes of a very healthy start to my day opposed to what the alternative could have been.
Here he goes with the clock again. With same thing, he did the same thing with the ice cream. Eating it before 5 o'clock, I'm not going to get another roll. I mean, come on.
Another roll?
Yeah, in your belly.
Yeah, again. And by the way, nobody said, you think people in America today aren't scarfing down Super Bowl leftovers still on a Tuesday before they go bad?
We're not saying
I'm
that.
representing the red-blooded American that's doing this all over offices today.
You take it to a next level.
10 wings is the next level?
No, that's not going to...
Did I jam potato skins and dumplings in between
That's
each
not
wing?
the end of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you should see my spread Sunday.
Because that's not
Did I crunch up nacho chips and dump tacos on top of it, or did I have 10 grilled chicken wings?
But that's not the end of it, though. You're going to have that shake, you say, on the way home.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen?
On the way home.
And then at home, you're going to have a salad, quote unquote.
I have a salad chopper now. I've been eating salads, and dinner tonight is probably more salad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You started the day with 10 wings, and you'll have 2 of your 3 meals as salad.
I did yesterday. I had a salad for lunch, chicken salad. Dinner, I took 3 of the tacos I had left over for dinner. I smashed them up with lettuce, and I made a taco salad. So I've been on a real salad kick.
Pete said to me, he goes, look at this guy. It's 6:16 on the East Coast. It's 3:16 on the West Coast, and he's burying wings.
What am I supposed to do? We clearly can't cook our own breakfast here anymore.
Yeah, we should blame the bosses for that one.
Totally. So I have no choice but to eat wings out of a Tupperware.
Do you want Mraz to eat unhealthy foods at 6 in the morning? If not, let us have that damn bacon griddle. Attica. Mraz just choked at the end of that. Wing come up?
No, I'm good now. I don't even char bones. I've been eating a lot cleaner. I don't just engulf it now. I pick.
Progress.
I've changed my habits.
When we come back, we've got Trash Tuesday on the docket. What are you trashing? It's next, DA, CBS Sports Radio. What if you could know what's happening in your body while you're sleeping and how your nights are impacting your days? Well, guess what? With the Sleep Number smart bed, you can. In fact, you can get your biometrics and how well you're sleeping with Sleep IQ technology, as well as daily tips to help you improve your sleep and energy. Did you know? 8 out of 10 couples prefer a different mattress firmness. The Sleep Number bed.
Control room whatsoever, and the people that could manually send us to break are not answering the phone, so we don't know if there's a problem back there. We have engineering currently working to see if there is a breaker issue somewhere, but until they come back and tell us how to handle the issue, we literally cannot do a thing. We don't even have a button to press to go to break.
Okay.
Whose fault would this be, Sean, in the early estimation?
Whose fault?
Whose fault is it?
Whose fault is that?
I don't know. I don't know. Clearly something triggered a power outage, so we don't know. Radio Faux Week has gotten out of hand, but there's so much connection stuff going on.
Yeah.
It could be something in Phoenix or Cumulus.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I definitely think it's what's happening in Phoenix.
Yeah. How's Pete handling this?
Calmly. And you know what? There's starting to be rumors wondering, did Pete throw something here?
Is that he took a dive?
Did Pete take a dive so that there was a problem here and he could prove his worthiness to fix? I mean, that is certainly on the table right now.
At the moment, on the other side of the glass, you have Pat Boyle sitting on the side waiting for engineering to do their thing.
Yeah.
And Pete is standing all the way in the back, overlording over everything, hands crossed, watching everything unfold.
And there wasn't a good sign from engineering when they said, quote, we'll throw to something. There's nothing we can throw to. There's no button we could press. It seems like there's a problem from the top down right now. So the only thing we know is working is us talking and people hearing us.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to suggest.
We got to stretch.
Oh, this is great. Pete's going, stretch, as he looks down at it and just walks out. Stretch, guys, stretch. Okay, so we're not going to go to commercial break. I can dial up like 7 hot takes right now and just go. I could also tell you the story of the Super Bowl since, 1966. But
Super Bowl I.
Let's go through it. But I think this is better. I want anybody to tweet in anything that they want, and I'll read the tweet and discuss it. Because at this point, we're kind of doing it just for the listeners that can hear us, and we can't do anything else.
Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
So, what's eating you?
People that get in the left lane and drive the speed limit. I gotta trash the NFL, man.
Trash my ex-girlfriend.
You want me to trash that?
Trash Tuesday, my favorite day of the week, not for nothing.
Time to vent. We take it out like the trash. It's Trash Tuesday.
Okay, let us know what's bugging you by tweeting at me, DA on CBS, or on the phones at 855-212-4CBS. Mraz, what's bugging you?
I'm going to trash anybody who agrees to be a churro guy and then decides to evacuate the building in which they are supposed to be a churro guy. You know, I was listening to this radio show last week, and they promised a churro guy would walk around. And when the churro guy was asked by the producer, hey, are you ready? They were nowhere to be found and told, quote, I'm not in the mood for this right now or today. So it led to other people having to pinch hit, do some live radio on the air, shocking the host a little bit. And look, enough stuff can go wrong in what some might call a radio faux week. But if you agree to do something in general in life, don't suddenly throw your hands up in real time knowing it's go time and saying no thanks. So Churro Guy 1, I'm trashing him.
That will contribute to the microplastics in the bottom of the ocean.
Now, careful here, because by trashing CG1, the first churro guy, the starter, are you now risking him not doing anything else for us for the rest of time?
No, because it's a Monday and there's no way they're listening unless Cap clips it. And number two...
Don't do that, Cap.
Do it, Cap.
And honestly, at this point this morning on a Tuesday, who cares? Honestly, it's past football season. That was a bad job. You got to come in and hand out the churros.
Was that the direct quote, I'm not in the mood for this?
I'm just not in the mood for this today.
Do we know why? Was it something we did?
No.
Was it our antics is getting tiring around the newsroom?
I'm sure Sean didn't give him any notice. So
I did give him notice, and I gave him more notice when I came in with the churros, and everything was fine. I don't think it was anything we did. It might have been something the Brooklyn Nets did. It might have been something in life. I don't know. But, you know, there's been the words loose cannon firing around out there, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, I, for one, support the churro guy.
I do, too.
No matter what. I wish he was there, but...
Yeah, you guys didn't have to throw in the poncho and be churro guy, too, so easy for you to say.
Pete the Body, who are you trashing?
I am trashing anyone who delivers wings to the Bilotti house. Every time I ask for wings, and I'm very polite about it, I would like ranch instead of blue cheese. Every time I get wings from any place in my area, I say that statement, I get a double order of blue cheese. It's like someone is playing a joke on me. Oh, hey, no ranch. Let's give this guy double blue cheese. And it ruins the wing experience. I bought 4 little trays of wings on Super Bowl Sunday. And I get all these trays of blue cheese after I ask for ranch. It's ridiculous. I don't want blue cheese. That's why I asked for ranch. So please, I'm trashing all those people that send me wings and don't send me ranch.
Oh, break out the hazmat suit.
Let me ask you, Mraz, since you kind of are the king of condiments, is it possible that blue cheese is more expensive than ranch? And so wing places would rather you take the ranch. And so they've got leftover ranch, extra ranch, more ranch. They're just like, they don't even think about it. They just keep giving people all the ranch.
That wouldn't shock me at all. Again, some places care more about their blue cheese and do their own kind of version of it, which would also lead to a higher expensive. That sure could be a part of it. I think that probably on Super Bowl Sunday, you're just getting a lot of loss on attention to detail from ordering a place from wings. Where
They're not even listening to you.
Yeah, they're just like, you're getting what you're getting, and that's the end
Well,
of
then
it.
why are you in the business for then? You know, like I love the whole thing. Oh, it's Super Bowl Sunday. What do you expect? Well, you're in the business of taking care of people on Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, what am I supposed to give you a break? Hey, the Super Bowl Sunday. So just give me a burger instead of wings.
Although we did kill Schwartz for banging on IHOP on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because he does it all the time.
It's true.
Schwartz does it all the time.
It's true.
And that was a pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
Their first Mother's Day,
Yeah.
they're only doing takeout orders. That was a horrendous job by Schwartz.
Okay, so you agree with Pete. You better,
Yeah.
if you're taking orders on Super Bowl Sunday, get them right.
Well, I would say this. A lot of places now have stripped down their menu on Super Bowl Sunday to make sure they're getting it right. So I respect those places, and that's fine. I just, look, calm down if you're Pete. Calm down. How hard is it? Get a ranch bottle from the supermarket. Relax.
Oh, you would be doing cartwheels if you could about anything that would happen to you if this happened in your situation. If this happened in your situation, you'd be going crazy.
I don't complain. I take what I get. I don't want sending anything back. I take what I get.
Yep.
But I think there is a bigger point in Pete's trash, because I have fought this battle in a different way. I do prefer ranch to blue cheese, and I feel like you get judged for not wanting blue cheese. It is the predominant kind of dipping sauce with wings, but ranch is not an outlandish request, and people, it's hard sometimes. Like, it's not the default, and if you want it, it's like, oh, I'll go get your ranch. Like, it's a big deal, and that hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
It's not like I asked for a special sauce. I
Right.
want to make this grandiose sauce. I asked for ranch.
Right. It's the other sauce in the equation. It shouldn't be that hard.
And it hurts.
Yeah, don't make me feel bad for something that you offered.
Six blue cheeses. What am I gonna do with that?
Bogues, who are you trashing?
The gentleman that's on my train these days, now at 4:15 is my scheduled train time. I basically know of everyone in my specific car. I don't know their names or life stories, but it's all the same faces every morning. So this is a newbie, and this guy is definitely younger than me. I mean, he might be at his oldest mid-20s, so he should not be doing this, in my estimation, at any time of day. But at 4:20, 4:30 in the morning, the last thing anybody wants to hear is this dude hocking up half a lung every morning. And it is big, horrible, wet, deep loogies.
No.
And you know specifically with me, the Jody cough montage is one of the things I hate the most to hear. So this is almost like a direct attack on me. And then my post-game question would be, I don't hear the follow-up spit. So I don't know what this guy is doing after all of this junk comes up. I don't know where it goes after that.
Oh, I hope he doesn't swallow it.
He's horrible. Get him out. At least get him off my train car.
He leaks it into a cup and it gets delivered to Peter's ranch.
That's so bad.
Totally gross, dude.
I went into a department store on Friday, and I knew...
In 1983?
I went into a James Way.
I went into Alexander's.
Service merchandise.
So I was walking through Caldor.
Did you get some slacks?
1985.
Department store.
Is there any Mr. Coffees around?
What do you call it, guys?
Just name the store.
Or name the store, or just call it a store. You don't call it a department store.
It's like when you insist on calling the guy that attacked Pete's car a vagrant. That also sounds like an old man. He's a bum. He's a homeless guy.
I went to get a pair of shoes at the department
I
store.
was trying to be respectful to the homeless guy by giving him a title.
He put a garbage can through my windshield.
It's Sir Vagrant to you guys. So I go into the store, and I knew it closed at 9 o'clock because I had looked it up, and the sign of the window said it closed at 9 o'clock, and it's about 8:45. I go in there, and I'm hitting it in and out. I know exactly what I need, and they're vacuuming. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get the point. Okay, we're closing up shop here.
Get out.
Vacuuming, then they shut off the music. I'm like, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Then the guy comes over to me and goes, "Sir, I would just like to let you know that we are closing in approximately 15 minutes." Like, guys, I can see, I got the signs, okay? I know you want to get out of here. So now I've got to shop where vacuuming's going on right next to me. The music is dead. It's dead silent. So it's very awkward when the vacuum goes off. And I feel like crap, And just like you're saying, the store's open till 9. So can you just give me the 5 minutes I need here to just check out? I didn't even take it until 9. I know you want to get out of here. I know it's a long day. I know you got to clean up and everything. But it is open until 9. So can you just give me a few more minutes before you're basically shoving me out the door, making it really, really awkward to finally purchase what I need to purchase? So trash.
I smell rotten eggs.
You didn't even get the public announcement. You got the one-on-one announcement.
But of course, you were probably doing nothing for the 3 hours previous and had to go right before it closed, right? No accountability there. Wait around all day. I'll run out now.
No. I forget. No, you know why? Actually, the reason I called it a department store is because I went to the outlet malls and there's a bunch of There's a bunch of stores all together.
Okay.
And most of the place closed at 10, except this place closed at 9. So I was just running in there because I had an extra hour at the other places.
Okay.
So that's why I went into this store. And so you're closing number one earlier than every other store around you, and number two, you got a hot iron poker getting me out of there. Get out of here, man. We don't want your business. Get out of here. You feel so awkward when they're closing up shop. Pat is next up. He's in Boise this morning here on the show. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. I'm trashing myself. I was working out at home, and I was going to do some skull crushers, and you have to go backwards with them on an incline bench. Well, I didn't have one of those, so I thought, I'll just use this. I forgot it was my inversion table. And as soon as I get set up, I went completely backwards, crashing, dropping the bar, scraping myself up quite a bit. I'm okay, but I've always been clumsy.
Oh, my goodness. Trash him.
I'm getting queasy.
Ooh, that sounds really dangerous.
My goodness.
This is why you shouldn't work out.
Yeah, really.
That's right. There you go.
Muscles overrated.
Totally. You don't want to die while getting your muscles. On Twitter, oh boy, this isn't the best. Rob of the 321 trashing Bob the Deli Man.
Oh, no.
All right, bum. What do you want to say?
For calling Nick Sirianni a loser for crying during the national anthem. Is Bob not a proud American? Is he too much of a tough guy under that Long Island persona? Doubt it. I bet he cried when his favorite deli slicer died. Give me a break. Hashtag Trash Tuesday.
Ooh, that garbage bag is leaking.
Oh, boy.
No, you know what? No,
That's a good, strong close.
No, you know what? I'm going to address this because now I've had enough.
I'm going to address this
Now
because I've had enough.
Now I've had enough.
Address what?
Okay? When I said that Bob the Deli Man said, enough of this loser, whatever the heck he said, Bob the Deli Man didn't think he's a loser because, he loves the country so much. He thinks he's a loser because he kicked the Giants' ass 3 times and stared into a camera, and he's tired of looking at his face in any way, shape, or form. But, of course, Rob's thick head is too worried about what next Nickelodeon character he's going to call in impersonating that he can't grasp that. So, you know what? This is exactly why Kyle in Arizona is constantly right about Rob. He doesn't listen and instead processes things just to regurgitate them into typing a boom, 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 boom to get his name read and heard because he wants to be a celebrity the next time he rounds Publix and swipes his debit card.
Well, good morning, DA, and everybody in the mothership.
Was that SpongeBob?
DA, this is the coolest thing I've ever been for in my entire life. So cool.
Rob, by the way, on that note, who also didn't get the bid of Radio Faux last week and DM me, hey, what other impersonations are you looking for? I could do this, this, and this. Totally not understanding, Ben Franklin represents Philadelphia, Rob, not Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's not the help we need. The pig for attention that he is.
I do want to know, though, if your dad has a deli slicer buried next to one of the dogs in the backyard.
He does it.
Okay.
Look, it's not like he adored, slaving away at the deli count. I mean, that's not what he likes to. I mean, he just was happy to work hard his whole life.
And Bob is a proud American. I know that.
100% he is. Yeah. He's just not proud for Nick Sirianni. He hates him. Rob sucks.
Rob is the biggest glutton for punishment ever. He doesn't care how he gets abused on this show. He just keeps coming back and trying to fire harder and harder and harder. It's amazing.
So he can, go back on the Odyssey app and rewind and play it for everybody in his family to dinner. Look, they talked about me again. He's Schwartz without a gift card.
P.S. Rob sent in today stunned.
Wow. All right, more of your trash is coming up here on a Trash Tuesday with Bogues' headline.
So a couple might have gotten married at last night's Mavericks game, but I doubt they scored as much as Kyrie Irving. 26 points in the fourth quarter, 36 total in his Dallas debut. But like most men, Kyrie didn't last long enough.
8 seconds to go. Here's Kyrie up top to his right, and Doncic bounced it back to Kyrie. A pump fake. Now loses control. Taurean Prince scoops it up. The Timberwolves have it. The clock expires, and this ball game is over.
Irving and Doncic refusing to shoot before the buzzer. The Mavs lose 124-121. The highlight from Alan Horton on T-Wolves Radio. The Warriors outscored the Wizards 135-126 with Andrew Wiggins scoring 29. The Spurs matching the longest losing streak in franchise history. It's 13 games after a 117-109 final in Cleveland. The Jazz 123-117 winners in Indy, and the Knicks down the Nets 124-106 behind 40 from Jalen Brunson. Brooklyn had won their previous 9 meetings. Men's college hoops, Texas Tech knocked off number 6 Texas 74-67 after beating number 12 Kansas over the weekend. Tomorrow night's Michigan State-Minnesota game has been postponed following last night's mass shooting on campus in East Lansing. 3 people killed, 5 injured over 2 locations. The alleged shooter, a 43-year-old man, is now dead as well. He apparently had no affiliation with the university. And the WAC has decided that New Mexico State's men's basketball forfeiting its final 6 games. The school shut down the program Sunday for the rest of the season following serious hazing allegations. We jump now to some baseball news. Yankees lefty Nestor Cortez is off Team USA for the World Baseball Classic because of a hamstring issue. And from the NHL, the Coyotes snapped an 18-game road losing streak, 4-2 in Nashville. Their previous road W was November 23rd. And now, we're stunned.
It doesn't take much to surprise this bouncing baby boy.
This is honestly the most stunned I have ever been on the show to a news.
The DA show is stunned to a news.
This is awesome. Our beloved Robin, the 321, is the Florida man of Florida Man stories. He sends along this beauty from Flagler County, Florida. Police were called to a motel parking lot where a man and woman were spray painting a semi-tractor trailer red. It was originally hot pink, and the couple had just allegedly stolen it. Now, smartly, they realized hiding a hot pink semi was an issue, so they bought, at least according to one picture, 9 cans of red spray paint and went to work. The problem was they were doing this in a parking lot in plain sight near I-95. When police arrived, the couple took off into nearby woods. The woman captured almost immediately. The man stayed on the loose for a few hours, but now both are facing multiple charges.
This is awesome. This is such a good story. Number one, did you know that stealing a semi, this truck was worth up to $300,000?
Yeah.
So this is that's a hot commodity. Yeah. Number two, if you were at a Days Inn in Flagler County, Florida, what else do you expect to see except a couple on the lam spray painting a semi-truck?
Talk about saving money on a Disney trip.
The semi also is originally hot pink.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of an amazing story that they're not painting it hot pink. They're painting it red to cover up hot pink because how do you hide a hot pink semi that's stolen?
There's got to be 10,000 white semis. Steal one of those and hide inside.
Right? I mean, and so then their idea, again, is not to drive it into the woods or to their home or somewhere to spray paint it or a big parking lot like at an auto body place or a junkyard or something. They're in the back of a Days Inn with 10 spray paint bottles trying to spray paint an entire semi at a Days Inn a foot away from I-95. And then when they're caught, they run into the woods. The woman is caught almost immediately. She's like, run! I don't have my running shoes.
Should have got manager.
You got me.
I do have to say, though, they do a pretty good job of the red paint.
I would agree.
Like
it looks
for
pretty
spray
good.
paint?
They were almost away with it.
Yeah, they got most of the cab done, and then they need to do the trailer part, and it looks like the hood part.
That's not a bad job. So I guess,
It's a really good idea, actually. If I'm going to steal a hot pink semi and it's worth $280,000, how do I make sure nobody's looking for it? I paint it red. But you got to do it outside of the Days Inn parking lot.
And maybe get a faster way to do it, too. 'Cause don't they have those sprayers that are like electronic? You can
Yeah.
plug in the paint can and spray?
And I'm pretty sure every Days Inn in Florida has a Cracker Barrel or a Waffle House in the parking lot, too. So they couldn't have been too hidden.
Let me ask you this also. If you stole a semi, no, I take that back. If you were staying at a Days Inn and you look out back and somebody's spray painting a semi truck, do you report it?
Nah, I mind my business.
I would.
Would your first thought be that's something illegal?
Yes, but I probably don't get involved because it's Florida and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on around here. Could be theirs, might not be theirs. This could be a plan. It could be a ghetto. I have no idea. I'm not getting involved.
They won't know that you're getting involved.
I'm just saying, yeah, it's Florida, though. I'm going to tell the manager. Then I need to be a witness. They got to file a police report.
And how do I know then the manager of the hotel's not involved in some
Right, exactly.
way as well?
Yes, exactly.
It's not worth the potential something crazy happening to you as a repercussion. I mind my own business.
Nobody's getting hurt in the situation.
It ain't my semi. But that person should have kept better take care of it.
Oh, like manage better if you're down 10 runs?
Yeah, exactly.
They should. Why are you down 10 runs?
That is a great Florida story, though.
Thanks, Rob. You're the best.
When we come back on the show, the nastiest player of the NFL at one time passes away. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
I don't want to say the wrong thing because it's not Scranton. I'm pretty sure I'm going to Scrotum, Pennsylvania.
No, you're not.
Definitely. Definitely.
You were afraid
It's not Scranton. It's not Scranton.
Out comes Scrotum.
I'm telling you, look this up. I am fairly certain it's located in Scrotum, Pennsylvania.
I think you're right.
He's laughing so hard I did Google it.
And don't forget, if he was on 12 hours of sleep, he still would have said Scrotum, Pennsylvania. So do not chalk this up to triple overtime at the Garden.
Don't they have a porta-john on site, Shep? Man, they got paws, man. They can't even open up that porta-john. I got to go over there. I got to walk these guys off the construction site, man.
Hey, how about Kyrie?
So ridiculous.
Did you ever know it was a bunch of terriers that built Levittown with their very own paws back in 1952, man?
Good morning, Jody.
Saturday's lunch.
Which lunch?
Perez is coughing up a lung.
We should go to a break before he dies.
Let's keep it going. Come on.
He looks like the Penguin.
I can't talk.
More than Katie Lee.
Pink and red. What is going on?
I don't want. I can't.
Perez has gotten up and gone to the bathroom. I don't know. I made him laugh so much that something got lodged in his throat.
We're going to get banned from Twitch again.
That's how it goes.
Man, when you talk about the Great Expansion West, a bunch of Alaskan Malamutes, they built all those developments with their bare paws, man. Okay. Rez is back. We'll figure out what happened to him health-wise next. DA, CBS Sports Radio. What happened? What did you taste?
I regurgitated a chicken wing that I had on Saturday night. I tasted it, sauce and all, and I think a bone came up.
So did you eat a bone on Saturday?
No,
night?
I accidentally had a shard piece of bone come down Saturday. I remembered it, and it just came back up finally. I laughed so hard.
So you swallowed part of the wing bone?
Got to clean the bone, you idiot.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Also, America got real fat.
DA on CBS Sports Radio.
Now, the DA show is available on your phone. You can use the free Odyssey app, or you can use the free CBS Sports app. Either one of those apps will work just fine, and they're both free, the Odyssey app or the CBS Sports app. Conrad Dobler was an offensive lineman throughout the 70s. Most of his years was with the St. Louis Cardinals, also played for a couple of other teams, but his best years came in St. Louis. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler and teamed alongside Dan Deerdorf as one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. Now, the Cardinals didn't win anything of note when he was there, but in 77, he was named for the cover of Sports Illustrated the dirtiest player in the NFL, and he passed away at the age of 72 yesterday. Conrad Dobler was a throwback even in the 70s. Even in the 70s, he treated the game like it was the rough and tumble 1920s, where you could leg whip and eye rake and punch. That was his type of game. Conrad Dobler loved the rock fight in the trenches. He loved the hand-to-hand combat. And the 70s was still rough. It was a brutal game back then. It was still rough. Now, it had softened up clearly since the advent of the game itself. But they're still playing on concrete almost everywhere in the NFL. When it's not grass, it's hard, painted, green concrete, basically. They're allowed to do a lot more than they are now. They're just coming out of a generation where you could head slap the offensive lineman, where you could, again, leg whip and throat grab. And, I mean, he was in it for all of that, and he was dirty by those standards. Conrad Dobler was a vicious dude, and he loved it. He loved doing it, and he loved being known for that, and he was definitely one of a kind. So Conrad Dobler passing away yesterday, one of the all-time characters, proudly a dirty player, passing away yesterday at the age of 72. we got a lot to get to here on the show still. Straight ahead in hour number 3, we've got to reassess the Schwartz Super Bingo card. We only hit 9 of the 25 items. And so we have an offer on 16 of our boxes, which means we have to reconfigure it. We have to reassess it. So we'll study the game film coming up here next hour, see where we missed, and redo the game cards. And then tomorrow we will play Schwartz Super Bingo.
What matters is our plan.
Which is just a thrill to me. I mean, we've done some real edgy, non-conventional, innovative stuff here on the show, but we've never held Schwartz Bingo based on his Super Bowl spread. So I'm really excited about all of this.
It's the Kia.
Also, coming up here later on in the show, the Decade of DA features a sex therapist who came by the studios for Valentine's Day back in 2015. And so on a Valentine's Day today, everybody, you'll want to stick around to make sure you know how to make your partner happy. But when we come back here on the show, what will Aaron Rodgers look like when he comes out of isolation in 4 days?
Sports.
DA, CBS Sports Radio.
It's the Kia.
You know what I've had enough of already? My nosy neighbors. Everybody now we're doing work on the house has to slow down because I'm on a corner of the stop sign and do the stare for 10 minutes, examining every part of me and everybody work with me. Who's moving into the neighborhood here? What is it? Oh, there's a fat guy. What is he doing? Oh, you know, how about welcoming to the neighborhood? Whatever happened in the 1950s where somebody showed up, knocked at your door with a can of jam? I'm not getting those neighbors. I got the people showing up at the stop sign looking at me like I'm some fat buffoon, wondering if I'm flipping the house, if I'm staying at the house. How about a simple, if you're going to stop and stare, I'm not a zoo exhibit. Roll down the window, say hello, introduce yourself. I'm Sean, nice to meet you. I'm in the neighborhood. Who are you? You Gary, Eugene? Great. Where do you guys live?
Where's your jam?
How are the schools? I mean, geez, would it hurt somebody to send me a half tray of Penny a la Vodka maybe? Say, welcome to the neighborhood? No. I get these vicious stares. All my neighbors suck already. Get them out.
Hold your nose. That's some smelly rubbish.
It's electric.
What's your name? Gary? Gene? Give me your can of jam now. I'm in the neighborhood over here.
What's a baked CD? Oh.
Hey, yo. Where's your can of jam? Gary? Gene? Move along here. Are your neighbors really named Gary and Gene?
I don't know any of the names because nobody introduces themselves. They'll just stare at me like I'm the big humpback whale in the aquarium. Look at him go by there carrying the piece of sheetrock.
You're more beluga than humpback, actually.
This might be the end of morass.
Hey, don't you know how to be a good neighbor? Where's the can of jam?
Hey, give me some paint while you're at it.
How are the schools around here, Gary? Your name's Gene, right? Oh, it's not? You look like a Gene. So how are the schools around here? Where's your can of jam?
Where are the buses?
How's the postal route around here? When am I going to get my mail?
You got any of those convenience stores? Oh!
You guys dial the 311 or you just don't when you dig? What are you doing around here? You look like a Gary. Oh, where's my can of jam?
Oh!
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
CBS Sports Radio. Live from CBS Radio Studios in New York City, it's the DA Show with your host, Damon Amendolara, featuring producer Mraz and the musical sounds of the Zap Zap Orchestra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's DA.
And happy Tuesday to you, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. It's Trash Tuesday, so let us know what it is that's bugging you by tweeting at me, DA on CBS, or on the phones at 855-212-4227. If you're just tuning in this hour, boy, you are in for a hell of an hour. Coming up in 40 minutes, was Rihanna the reason for the slick turf at the Super Bowl? And in 20 minutes, we reassess the Schwartz Super Bingo board. Look, we here on the DA Show pride ourselves on being aficionados of a few things. Old jerseys, food to eat with your sports, spring football,
outdated shows,
outdated TV shows, and Schwartz's Super Bowl spread and what he enjoys doing, what he enjoys eating, everything that goes into Schwartz. We love Schwartz around here. We've worked with him forever. He's such a character, and so we really believe that we know him. And we thought we knew him so well that we could name every single thing that he was going to serve at his Super Bowl party, and he is always very proud to share what he is eating at the Super Bowl party, what he is serving at his Super Bowl party. But Sunday, we have this group chat going on text of the entire show. Nary a text about a Chiefs comeback, a Mahomes play, the Bradbury flag, nothing. But incessant dissection and speculation of the release of the photos and the foods involved at the spread. And we were caught off guard. We were all left in shock and awe. Out of the 25 squares, we hit only 9. Meaning, when we play the Schwartz Super Bingo tomorrow, we have to redo the squares because if we kept them as the board that we thought it was going to be, nobody would win. So we have to dissect the menu today and then reassess the board and go into tomorrow with Super Schwartz Bingo Boards 2.0.
And if you haven't seen it, don't look. Just know it was the most shocking Super Bowl decision since Sean Payton led off that second half with an onside kick.
Well, at least since the Seahawks threw at the goal line.
Probably. I would say this passes that, but that's just me.
Okay.
Just as gross a decision. But
okay. Today, Aaron Rodgers enters darkness. Or yesterday he did? One of these days.
Yesterday. He didn't want to stay for the Super Bowl recap shows.
Yesterday he did. Will Aaron Rodgers come out with an answer? So, this is awesome. It's awesome because as I've said, this might be a very effective way to clear your mind, to cleanse your mind. We have a lot of mental clutter these days. We are constantly on our phones, and so we are attached to these inanimate objects that feed us via algorithms the things that they know we need in our brain or we want in our brain. We get the dopamine trip all the time. There's a great Netflix documentary about this, that the programmers of our apps and our phones know exactly the rhythm of when and what to feed us so that we're addicted. We're hooked up to the drip. So you scroll TikTok, or you scroll Instagram, or you scroll Facebook, or you scroll Twitter, and they have made sure they've streamlined this thing so that at the pace that your brain wants it, you keep getting the cocaine. Check your Instagram algorithm. You know exactly what you've been searching. You know exactly what you like. Instagram's algorithm, when you go to the Explore page, knows you better than you know you. That's all of your desires right there. That's all of your most honest desires are your Instagram Explore page.
Mine's ugly.
Everybody's is ugly. You know, it's whatever you're addicted to is in that thing.
A lot of pizza and bikinis. Danielle wasn't happy when she grabbed my phone.
It knows. So, yes, cluttered mind, cluttered brain. You get away, you find space. I try to do this by leaving my phone back home sometimes and going for a hike, going for a run, just knowing that I can't then check my text, check Twitter, whatever. So I understand that element of this, and that's certainly a healthy thing for us all to do, to quote, unplug. The thing is, when people truly seek the truth, clarity, mental wellness, solitude, silence, what they don't often do is yell to everybody what they're doing. Guys, I'm going to the darkness. I'm really going to find myself. It's going to be awesome. And Rodgers is so funny because he fancies himself as an intellect. He fancies himself as some type of maybe spiritual guru, or in touch with his thoughts, in touch with his mind, in touch with all these things, human behavioral stuff. But, if he was a real mystic, if he was truly wise, he wouldn't have to tell anybody what he's doing. He would just go do it. I always say, if anybody's got to tell you how generous they are, they're not that generous. The people that give away the most money, that do the most things for people, never tell anybody about it. The people that have the most mental clarity don't actually tell a national audience, guess what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do, and it's really going to help. So this whole thing is so silly, but it's so on brand for Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Packers are done. I think they want to move on, but there's a very delicate dance they need to do, because Rodgers has $60 million coming to him this year potentially, and they know that he's kind of got to lead the way. This is the same way you have to trick your 3-year-old into eating vegetables. No, you really like this. No, last time you had this, you liked it. No, last time you remember we had it at that other place. We had it at Grandma's house. Then you really liked it. Right? You have to let them think they're leading the way.
Danielle has the same speech to me and Taylor at the dinner table.
So the Packers have to let Aaron Rodgers think he's leading the way, but they're hoping he comes to the conclusion, let me go. Because the Packers have a perfect break point right now. They're coming off a disappointing season. They've got Jordan Love going into year number 4. Nobody in Green Bay is like, we got to run it back. We got to run it back. And I think the Rodgers thing finally, even for the most loyal Rodgers fans, has gotten tired. That's my sense. And I know we're on a lot of affiliates in Wisconsin. I hear a lot from Packers fans quite a bit in my timeline. It feels to me, and I know a few people in the Green Bay and Milwaukee media, it feels to me that there has now become a bit of a, okay, I think we're done here. And I think, I could be mistaken, but I think part of this is, if you're going to deal with Aaron Rodgers' idiosyncrasies, I'll say that politely, he better deliver when it matters. And MVPs are great, but if he stinks in the playoffs, what's the difference? And you can't ignore this fact. And look, I've loved watching Aaron Rodgers. And there's a part of me that just loves the Packers, as you might imagine. I love the tradition of the Packers. I love Lambeau. It's why I wanted to go this year. I just love everything about the history and the uniforms and the stadium and the Lombardi and all of that. That's something that hits very close to my heart, even though I'm not a, quote, Packers fan. But no matter what it is, no matter how beautiful it is to watch Rodgers throw a pass or throw a touchdown or run, against his body and wing it 60 yards downfield, his postseasons for the last 4 years have been a disaster, or at least when it mattered most. NFC Championship game 2019 in San Francisco. It's a blowout after the first quarter. And yes, the Packers can't stop a nosebleed in that, and the Niners are running all over them, but Rodgers is a disaster in that game. It's a blowout. By halftime, the game's over. They were the 2 seed that year. The next year, they're the 1 seed, and they take on Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers at Lambeau. And what happens? Aaron Rodgers comes up lame again, and it's Brady who makes more plays than Rodgers, and even Rodgers' coach doesn't necessarily trust him in the waning seconds to make a play. Another bad performance by him in a huge spot in an MVP season. Next year, another MVP. Home field advantage, number 1 seed. Back-to-back number 1 seeds. Home game at Lambeau. Doesn't score an offensive touchdown. They lose to Garoppolo and a special teams score with the Niners. He's terrible. And then this year, at home, in Lambeau, winning in against the Lions. Lions have nothing to play for. Rodgers stinks. If you're going to deal with the Rodgers of the McAfee show every Tuesday, calling out what the coach should do publicly, calling out players and who should sit and who should start, being prickly with young wide receivers, well, then he better deliver when it matters. He's not doing that either. So I think that the Packers would love to wash their hands, boom. But you got to let him believe that he's leading things. So you let him go into this cave. He gets to go to Howe Caverns. He sleeps in there for 4 days. Please leave your phone at the front rock. Just leave us with your emergency contacts in case something happens. Bring an airline pillow. It's kind of cold and dank in there. The floor is kind of hard. No windows will be open, so when you come out, you look like a mole coming out of a hole. Okay? And so then Rodgers appears like Puxatawny Phil in 4 days. Whether he's seen his discount double check will let us know whether he's going to play again.
David Bakhtiari with the top hat pulling him out.
When we come back on the show, this is the segment I've been looking forward to since Sunday.
You won't even break early for a guest.
No, I'm breaking early. We got a lot to get to here. The short super spread is something else. It's a sight to behold. And I've got so many theories on this. I'm so excited to break down the short super spread and for us to reassess where we went wrong on our bingo card. It's all coming up next. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
felt so strong, I'm back, I'm feeling like there's nothing that I can't try. And if you with me, put your hands high. Put your hands high. Haven't lost a life before. And if you with me, put your hands high. The dreams are filled, you're rocking with the best. I'll be on you. I hear the tears of a clown. I hate that song. I always feel like they're talking to me when it comes on. Another day, another dawn. Another Keisha, nice to meet you. Get the math, I'm gone. What am I supposed to do when the club lights come on? It's easy to be puffed, but it's harder to be shown. What if my twins ask me why I ain't married their mom? Damn, how do I respond? What if my son stares with a face like my own and says he wants to be like me when he's grown? Shit, but I ain't finished grown. Another night, the inevitable prolong. Another day, another dawn. Just tell Keisha and Teresa I'll be better in the morning. Another lie that I carry on. I need to get back to the place I belong. Come on.
I'm coming home.
I'm coming
Tell
home.
the world I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday.
Ain't no
I know my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. I'm coming home.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining.
Padres on the loose. Let's go, Goose.
30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds.
I don't hate this idea.
I vote for song, yeah.
Up and got himself a stick.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Looking for more fried foods at school?
I got a lot of meat on my bones.
Searching for an 8th foul ball?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
Mraz is our eyes and ears on the ground.
I read the newspaper daily.
It's meat on the bone.
All right. Last week, we held the Schwartz Super Draft, where we had our guests, and Mraz and I dialed in on this hard. The 25 items we were convinced were going to be on Schwartz's Super Bowl spread. And Mraz, you had gone back and studied film on this. You went back and studied his last 3 Super Bowl spreads.
Yeah, I could name all 25 things featured as the last 3 Super Bowl spreads. I could not name the last 25 Super Bowl MVPs.
So the first part of this was we had to build the draftees, the draft list. 25 items that we were all going to draft from, and there was going to be the 4 of us here on the show, myself, Mraz, Pete the Body, and Bogues. We're going to add Tom Doyle to it, and from the top rope, Greg Caserta. We had 6 guys involved in this draft last week. But let us start with the draftees. Who is eligible after the scouting combine, after the Senior Bowl? Mraz, do you have that list of 25? We want to start there. Okay, let's get to the list of 25 because I want to superimpose what we thought it was going to be versus what it ended up being.
Yeah, it was easy to search. Schwartz Menu Bingo. Got it.
Okay, Schwartz Menu Bingo. Give us the 25 we thought were no-brainers on this spread.
Moot sticks, pigs in a blanket, potato skins, carrot celery combo, Diet Coke, ice, jalapeno poppers, chicken nuggets, crinkled cut fries, fruit, cheesecake, M&Ms, bone-in wings, boneless wings, pizza bagels, pizza rolls, dumplings/pot stickers, egg rolls, nachos, spinach dip, shrimp, pretzels, popcorn, and chips.
Okay. Those were the 25 we were convinced were going to be on this spread. Then we drafted the top picks, okay? And that had its own life to it. And that was a really impressive thing as well to see, what we were guessing was going to be the number 1 picks, etc. Here's how the draft broke down. Bogusch had the number 1 overall pick and took Diet Coke. I had the number 2 overall pick, and this was for the center square, okay? Center square on our bingo card. I had pigs in a blanket. Boyle came up with chips that included either nacho tortilla chips or just potato chips. Mraz went with ice, knowing that with Diet Coke there would be ice in the picture. Bellotti went with boneless wings, and Caserta went with candy, specifically M&Ms. Those were our center squares. Then we drafted the second round, snake draft, of course. The top right-hand corner. Caserta came with a 6-7 matchup of M&Ms and then into pretzels. That could include pretzel rods, large hot pretzels, or small bag pretzels. Pete's second round draft pick was potato skins. Mraz's second round pick was fruit. Now, there was some controversy on what qualified as fruit in Sunday, so we will get to that. Boyle came around with bone-in wings, which we afterwards in the PGP wondered aloud about whether that was too much work for the Schwartzes.
And I'm working on a source I think might have bought and brought them.
Okay. My second round pick was shrimp cocktail, which we nicknamed the Ring of Honor for the for the Costco ring of shrimp. And then the final pick of the second round, the final pick of the draft, was Bogusch coming around with mozzarella sticks. Those were what we were convinced the 12 were going to be. Not only did we miss on many of the top 25, there were misses within the draft picks themselves, including a first rounder or two, including what appeared to be the first overall pick. In a shocking turn of events, now we analyze the pictures that were released. Now, this is such a big deal because as soon as the championship games wrapped up, Schwartz tweeted, "I couldn't care less who's playing in the game. I'm already focused on my menu for the Super Bowl party." So this is a big deal in the Schwartz household, okay? We then get to the pictures themselves. And the moment that it's released at 3:16 p.m. Eastern time.
The moment it's released.
The moment
when they went to press.
Immediately, Cap must have an alert on his phone and texted us, 1 minute later, guys, smoke has risen from the Pope's chimney. We now have the pictures. And it's amazing. And immediately there's a beehive of activity on our text thread of what has been released and shock and awe. Okay? The first picture gives us the chip table. I guess this is apps. It is set on top of a folding table that somehow is balancing on top of a recliner next to a commemorative silver basketball. Who knows what's going on there? It's a football-themed spread. Under it, it's got green hash marks for a football field, and it says ready, set, eat. Chips do come into play, so check that off. We do have chips right there. Looks to me to be Ruffles. It's a Ridge chip. Now, perhaps it's a generic store brand Ridge chip, but we'll go with Ruffles.
Wrangles.
There are Fritos there, and there are
definitely ain't Ruffles.
there are Fritos, and there are Tostitos scoops. So chips, we know Boyle's first round pick is right. There's a spinach dip there, and there appears to be a buffalo chicken dip, although it's hard to say. It's yellow. It looks almost like a nuclear lava type of thing, but it's yellow and red enough. You believe, Mraz, that to be buffalo chicken dip.
And you could tell by the watery heating around the outside that is microwaved buffalo chicken dip. That is not evenly heated in an oven buffalo chicken dip the way it should be made. That is taking the easy way out of gross buffalo chicken
It looks
dip.
like relish, too.
There is something on the table that appears to be store-bought pepperoni that's pre-sliced.
I could tell you from my days working around Bob the Deli Man, that is, I'm going to give props to him. That's the Hormel prepackaged crackers and meats.
There's pizza bites, which we did not have as part of the draft, which is a huge miss by us. We should have had.
No, we had pizza rolls and pizza bagels.
Oh.
Those are pizza bagels.
Well, they're really, really tiny. I would call them pizza bites, but I guess you're right.
And really, really undercooked, too.
I think they're pizza bagels that have been cut down.
Oh.
No, that's the size they come in from the freezer section.
Really? I thought pizza bagels were kind of like this, like mini bagel.
No, they're almost like one bite only.
Yeah.
That's why they call them pizza bites.
All right.
But those are little bagels that they're
I think
on.
we're splitting hairs, but they're pizza bagels.
Okay.
That's what I meant with pizza bagels.
Okay. There is mozzarella sticks on the far.
Worst looking ones ever.
They
Look like
they
those
look
churros that we had the other day.
Honestly, look like Lincoln logs that you could build a house out of.
They look like mozzarella cadavers. Like they used to be mozzarella sticks.
But in a huge DA moment, and this is honestly where the film study comes in. First picture, both of my draft picks are right there. We've got Pigs in a Blanket and the Shrimp Ring of Honor side by side. So I'm feeling great about my draft at this point in time. We also have wings, and sharing the wings look to be unfrozen thawed French fries?
Yeah, maybe sweet potato fries?
No, I can identify those specific French fries for you guys where Detective Milkshake comes in. This won't matter to the rest of the country, but those are fries from a little place called All American Burger on Long Island that Schwartz frequents. And my guess is that was probably Saturday's dinner. They had extra fries. And in typical Schwartz fashion, they probably microwaved them and dumped them on the wing platter.
I do not like this at all, that they put fries on top of the wings.
Well,
why are you mixing those
This
two?
was not a bought platter like this. He microwaved that carton of fries and he dumped them on the top just so he could stuff his face fatter.
Okay. Then we get to the hand pickings. Okay. That's the apps where now it's the hand pickings. And this is where our first sense of controversy was. M&Ms are featured, and so Caserta gets it. There's also nuts. It looks like there's some cashews, almonds, and maybe some peanuts or something, and there's gummy bears. In the middle of the hand pickings, there are dried pineapple, creating a major source of controversy. Does that qualify as fruit? Now, before we get any further, did we feel that this qualified?
As somebody who drafted fruit, I will tell you, no, I don't think that would have
Oh,
qualified.
wow. It's almost like Bradbury admitting that he held. You're saying...
And I will go honor system. No, it does not. That's not in the spirit of which we drafted fruit.
Okay. Then we get to the mains. okay? And this is where our heads were blown off. We could not believe. Brains were melting down. I could only assume that this is in honor of the Kansas City Chiefs, that Schwartz went with a barbecue theme.
Well, I would always think money before teams.
Okay. What we see on the far left appears to be pulled pork. It looks more like mud on the side of the driveway after a rainstorm. It is hard to identify what meat that is, but I believe that that's a very muddy pulled pork.
That's a discredit to mud.
It looks like the doctor's table after my colonoscopy.
Okay.
It looks like something you'd eat to make sure the dog didn't eat it.
Then there is a football-shaped bowl of ribs, although, again, they're dark. It almost looks like the crow that we fed Kenny Brock. They are really mal-shaped and too dark. Then there's a football bowl of baked beans. Then there's mac and cheese. Then there's corn and coleslaw. The coleslaw is a little dicey, but it looks to be coleslaw far right. And then there's hamburger buns for your mud pork.
That's coleslaw?
I think that's coleslaw.
The thing on the way to the right is definitely coleslaw.
I thought it was like a mayonnaised celery.
It's heavy on the mayonnaise and a shred of celery or a shred of lettuce or whatever, or cabbage, and it's disgusting looking. And then there's bars of what appears to be a cornbread. Again, none of this looks appetizing. But then there's mystery bowl. Sandwiched between the mac and cheese and the corn is a bowl of something that is a tan beige. It seems to be smooth and creamy, but also chunky at the same time. It has no discernible food item in it, and we still are stumped. Mraz, you studied the film yesterday for how many minutes?
56 total minutes. I had to block myself, and I had to walk away before it was an hour. And this was in 2 sessions. I had to break it up.
Glad you saved those 4 minutes.
Look, and I think this one is worth discussing.
56 total minutes. Mraz studied this one dish and still doesn't know what it is.
And I need to caution everybody because I think everybody's immediate reaction is going to yell, mashed potatoes, mashed potatoes, mashed potatoes, which I do understand. If you just associate the barbecue foods around, common sense would tell you by default maybe it is mashed potatoes. But if those are mashed potatoes, we need a ring light hired for those mashed potatoes because they ain't the mashed potatoes I've ever seen in my life. That's rough looking. I mean, they're not even lumpy enough or creamy enough to go one way or another on mashed potatoes. The color really bothers me. The color scheme here is a problem.
Brown.
Because, mashed potatoes are white or at least creamy looking. These are a beige tan, which you can create if you skin on, I guess. But again, it looks both smooth and chunky. It really looks unappetizing, but I don't know if I can believe that's mashed potatoes.
I'll let you guys guess. I do have a final theory on it, but even I'm not 100% committed to it.
Okay.
So, first of all, just scoring at home, 56 minutes on this, 53 combined lifetime minutes at school for Sean. So, this has now jumped ahead of that as well. I'm sticking with what I originally suggested on Sunday, DA, because everything else is like the worst looking version of said food. I think this is some kind of misfit, like German potato salad.
Bingo.
That's got a little like mustard in it that is changing the color. It doesn't have like chives or anything in to break up the color palette.
Potato salad.
So I think that's a really heinous potato salad.
I was going to say that was going to be my final conclusion on this. I've seen crappy looking potato salad.
Yeah.
Okay, but usually it's very white because there's a lot of mayonnaise in it. This looks like it has no mayonnaise in it.
Well, that German style gives you the yellow type of spin on it.
Yep.
So if they didn't fully commit to the yellow, you get some kind of in-between. And I need to stress this again. What you're looking at here, because I don't know how many football bowls you need to buy, I don't believe that this is catered and picked up from a restaurant. Because if it was, they're too lazy. They would have left it in the trays it came in.
Yeah.
I hope not.
No, I think this is all unfrozen stuff. I think this is all from the Costco frozen case, and you
dump it.
Yeah, the pulled pork is the Bob Evans pulled pork out of a pouch, and the ribs are probably 4 days old that you keep in the fridge for a few days.
Those could be left over from a Miller's rack. too. Like, they very easily could be, and they've gone bad, and you've reheated.
The dessert table actually looks pretty decent. Again, seemingly propped up on a recliner. But there looks to be
Not a table leg to be found.
chocolate chip cookies, solid. This is where the fruit plate comes in. So Mraz is good there. There appears to be a Super Bowl-themed chocolate chip cookie cake, like a huge oversized chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, that is from the local Stop and Shop. I had those same things, same exact decoration sold at the one by me.
Yep. And that's a chocolate chip cookie cake?
Yes.
Okay. Then it looks to be some type of chocolate layer cake, maybe an angel food cake or something with white frosting.
And some kind of fruit mix on top. Again, looks untouched.
And are those ice cream cups?
Well, this is the problem. Those are what you would give your kids, those little dollar ice cream cups. They come in like a big sleeve.
Yeah.
Half chocolate, half strawberry. They're, for some reason, turned upside down and put in a flying V.
For display.
Yeah, that has to be strictly for this picture.
Oh, right. To show that it's actually an ice cream cup and not just looking at a label of something.
Exactly.
Yes. This is for the picture, which is
For the gram.
For a guy that doesn't care about image, he cares about turning upside down ice cream cups.
And one thing we'll note here, there's 6 of them.
Yes.
The Schwartz family has 4 members, so there might have been 2 other people at this party.
Yep. There might have been. We don't know because anybody that survives this doesn't talk about it.
Those cups are equivalent to scoops. You don't have to have more than 4 people.
It's like getting off the island in Lost. You just don't talk about it. Once you're out of there, you don't talk about it.
It's like Fight Club.
So, Mraz, we ended up going only 9 for 25. 9 for 25. So we had misses all over the board. So now we have to totally restructure the bingo card.
Can't believe this. Yeah, we do. We do. And it's going to take a little bit because apparently we have to manually do this as we played around with these randomizers. So this, I think we have no choice because how does the game work if you can't win bingo?
No, you've got to take out the things that we thought were going to be in there that weren't and add in German potato salad.
I think you just call that mystery.
Okay, mystery dish. Or you put in mud pork.
That's what we're going to do for Valentine's Day. Get some mud pork.
How disgusting.
Okay.
I still say we just give Pete the win and move on.
And so we're going to reset this board and then play bingo tomorrow. You're asking, okay, well, how do you play after the pictures are already released? Well, Cap has saved these and downloaded the pictures. He will release the pictures.
Zoomed in versions, I think.
At his own discretion, zoomed in, and then we will then mark off on our bingo card, what we have. But now let's go into the draft because this is really where history was made. Me and Mraz went only 9 to 25, which is a disgrace. But when you look at some of the draft picks, the fact, and I can't kill bogus here at all, the fact that the number 1 overall pick in Jamarcus Russell fashion is this big of a bust. Diet Coke never shown as part of the spread is a shocking moment, Mraz.
It totally is, and we are an inch away from it being shown.
You think so?
Because if you zoomed in on that dessert picture, to the right, underneath the Space Jam New Legacy promotional basketball in the glass that he took from here, there is a football koozie shaped with what would be a can in there, and they are not drinkers of beer. That maybe tells you there would have been no ice. Instead of going ice this year to keep it cold, he's going koozies. Your Diet Coke would have been right there, about an inch off in the picture.
Pokes, how devastating.
Well, it's devastating, but I also feel like they didn't have a dry party. We know they were drinking along the way here. I still think we could have asked Schwartz what they drank.
No, but the rules were it has to appear in pictures.
It has to be.
We knew that they would drink something. That was part of the gimmick.
Yeah, of course you're not going to go through a whole day and not drinking.
But I know we want to sit on a drink thing. It just dawned on me also. Did we need 6 chocolate chip cookies when there's a giant chocolate chip cookie right next to it?
Do we need a half of these things? There's 4 of them, maybe.
So,
like Pete said.
So Bogue's number 1 overall pick, Diet Coke, does not show up, nor does Mraz's Ice, which was his first-round pick and the 4th pick overall.
I got burned.
You got burned.
There's nothing I can say. I got burned. I went back. He's had ice at every Super Bowl. He decided to go away from ice.
But see, that's the thing. He didn't go away from ice. He just didn't take a picture of ice.
But if he did koozies,
Maybe there was no ice.
Yeah.
It has to be pictured. Pete goes boneless wings. He gets that. Caserta gets M&Ms. He gets that. Pretzels not shown.
No, they went Fritos this year. Totally changed everything.
totally changed everything. Caserta going 1 for 2, pretzels off the board. Pete gets screwed, no potato skins. And I thought that was a solid pick, Pete, but you got screwed there.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That's always a staple. To go to get the TGI Friday potato skins, heat them up in the microwave. That's an instant Schwartz meal.
I thought so, too.
If not for the barbecue spread, the potato skins would have been there.
Yep. Mraz.
Did you just say boneless wings hit?
I'm sorry, bone in. Oh, you're right.
He went 0 for 2.
Oh, you're right. I made a mistake.
Yes.
Boyle got bone-in wings.
Yeah.
Pete went boneless.
Right.
Pete's idea was less work.
Yeah.
Pop them in your mouth. Pete gets burned on that.
Yeah. Well, and bone-in wings more expensive. You generally don't buy those frozen, or at least that family would.
And so, wow. Okay. Then we come around. Mraz hits on fruit, misses on ice. Boyle hits on bone-in wings, hits on chips.
Great draft for him.
I hit on both pigs in a blanket and shrimp cocktail. Thankfully, Bogish gets his mozzarella sticks, even though he misses on Diet Coke. So,
Wait, where were the mozzarella sticks? I missed
far right first picture.
Oh, okay, with the burned bottoms of the pigs in a blanket and then the pizza bagels. That
Yeah,
microwave
it's the
on that
Lincoln
silver
Logs.
Thing. Right, okay.
Yeah, the Lincoln Logs. So, out of the 6 guys, only 2 had both picks. Nobody went 0 for, but the other 4 guys went 1 for 2.
I went over.
Oh, I keep missing. Oh, man, Pete goes
Guys,
0 for.
I'm going to protest the mozzarella sticks here. I really didn't. Those are fish sticks.
No, they're not
Guys,
fish
you
sticks.
Just cooking with fish.
Those are not fish sticks. We stop
Dude,
it.
I don't mean to be a pig here, but I am no stranger to every brand that exists of frozen mozzarella sticks, okay? I know everything from Farm Ridge to the flat ones at Fridays. I know what you could buy on Long Island. Those are not the type of mozzarella sticks that they sell frozen anymore.
Those are not fish sticks.
I think they're mutt sticks.
They're
or
mutt
they're
sticks.
chicken fries. Though I'm telling you, they do not sell that length.
You can
combo.
judge the length from here.
Dude,
Stop
I
it.
know this sounds funny.
It sounds ridiculous. Stop it.
I'm trying to be as serious about a ridiculously dumb topic as possible.
Which is what we do around
I
here.
have bought every brand of frozen mozzarella stick that you could find on Long Island. That combination of length, width, and lack of color breadcrumb does not exist.
That is the traditional mutt
No,
stick
it is
length.
not.
What are you talking about?
That is slightly longer and not as chubbier. I'm telling you, the
Not as
standard-
chubbier. Your sentence is over.
Giorgio's,
See you tomorrow.
The Farm Rich. I'm going to give you more. I'll bring them in. I'm telling you, that type of mutt stick does not exist.
We need to go to the videotape and go to the authority. Can you just text Schwartz and ask him, are those mutt sticks or fish sticks? And please ask what's in Mystery Bowl.
And just for
They
my
won't be
peace of
offended by any
mind,
of
I
that.
text them 2 pictures.
how many Diet Cokes were drank? Off the board, off the pictures. I just need to know that they had Diet Cokes.
And of all the things, Pete goes 0 for.
Well, that kind of fits. Sorry, Pete.
Gets burned.
Can I
The
also add
whole
one more
meal
thing?
got burned.
One more. We got to wrap this
Now
thing
that I've
up.
zoomed in on the sticks, and there's no cheese exploding. You think that family's gonna, attention to detail when cooking them? You would get cheese bursting out.
Look,
They're mutt sticks.
go to the authority. All right, that is
I await your apology.
the redraft and the reassessment of the short Super Bingo. We will actually play the game tomorrow.
One quick thing. I don't get how you serve all that food if you're just going to have 4 people there or even 6 people. Because I've been to parties that have 10 people there and you don't have that much food. Ugh.
Okay, Bogues has headlines.
And let me update Aaron Rodgers' location.
Okay.
He is still scheduled for his usual Tuesday appearance.
He's hiding in a cave in Afghanistan?
Well, he's supposed to be on with Pat McAfee like normal today, according to Pat McAfee. So either Rodgers didn't start the darkness yesterday as planned, or there's still cell service in the darkness, and he'll be on the radio from said darkness later today.
You can't do a radio hit from the darkness.
No, my guess is he just didn't go under yet.
He was supposed to go under yesterday, right?
Yeah, I know. And Rappaport was on with Pat yesterday talking about this, and McAfee said he's coming on tomorrow. We're told he's coming on tomorrow.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He's a disgrace.
That's embarrassing. You can't do that.
Rodgers is a disgrace.
That's not true darkness then.
In the NFL, Eric Bieniemy is scheduled to interview with the Commanders to run their offense, as is Greg Roman, while the Ravens have chatted with Cliff Kingsbury about running their offense. College hoops last night, number 6 Texas losing at Texas Tech, 74-67. While number 15 Miami pushed its win streak to 5, 80-72 at UNC. On the women's side, second-ranked Indiana rolled through Columbus for an 83-59 win over number 13 Ohio State. The Hoosiers have won 12 in a row, while the San Antonio Spurs have now dropped 13 straight.
Here's Mitchell up the right side. Mitchell into the lane. Mitchell floats, and it bounced around the rim and in. Donovan Mitchell with 41. This is his 6th game of 40 or more points. That's why he's going to Salt Lake.
Tim Alcorn on Cavs Radio. Donovan Mitchell with 41 in Cleveland's 117-109 win. The 13-game skid matches the longest in Spurs history. Damian Lillard scored 40 to lead the Blazers past the Lakers, 127-115. 40 from Jalen Brunson as the Knicks snapped a 9-game skid against the Nets, 124-106. Kyrie scored 36, 33 from Luka in Irving's Dallas debut, a 124-121 loss to the T-Wolves, and Brandon Ingram had 34 in the Pelicans' 103-100 win in OKC. Extra innings, starting with a runner on second base, is now a permanent MLB rule. Offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig is staying at Utah after interviewing for that job at Notre Dame. And from the NHL, the Panthers topped the Wild 2-1 in a shootout. Florida's won 4 of 5. And the Coyotes snapped their 18-game road losing streak, 4-2 in Nashville. DA, back to you.
Thank you, Bogues. We have confirmation?
Yeah, mozzarella sticks.
Bogues was right.
Mashed potatoes.
Oh.
And on Diet Cokes, quote, just a couple.
All right.
The mashed potatoes, we overthought that. You know, you can't assume that Schwartz is going to go with a German potato salad, mustard-based. Just go. Your instinct was right, Bogues. Think of the most disgusting version of a traditional food. That was what was on all those tables.
And though that might take the cake. Like, I might rather eat the mud pulled pork than those mashed potatoes.
I think I might bring food.
What were they mashed by, would be the question.
Pulled pork.
The Long Island Ducks mascot. Stepped all over the potatoes. There you go.
Game used mashed potatoes.
Waddle on over here.
Duck taters and mud pork. Super Bowl spread.
Dig in.
Was Rihanna to blame for the turf on Sunday? Sports, DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Shep is here, executive producer of the JR Sport Brief Show. Shep, so good to see you.
DA, great to be here. I very quickly, I just want to say,
He has now grabbed the mic.
everybody here, thank you so much for coming out and supporting us. I know it is so early. You support DA Show, you support CBS Sports Radio. As a matter of fact, Mr. and Miss Rash, thank you so much for having us. I know this took a lot of effort, a lot of thought, and a lot of will. And to you guys, really, truly, like, we don't do this in radio. Like, this is atypical of radio. Like, half of y'all know this, just being families of people in radio. This is so unique and just so bizarre in a good way. We're stuck at stations like 24/7. Like commuting 2 hours just to get to a station. You see one person every single day. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing as a DA show. Really, truly, it's awesome. Pete,
What is wrong with you? Are you like on another planet or something?
You know, Pete, I try to speak candidly and openly. We're giving the nicest person, you know what? You booed louder than anybody here, the nicest person at CBS Sports Radio. This man's our future boss. You better be smart. Who do you think I'm looking at right now? Connor Green. Are you booed him louder than anybody?
I booed you.
Okay. I didn't see you boo me. I saw you looking at him and booing him.
I did not boo Connor.
You booed Connor Green. Don't lie on the DA show.
I'm not lying.
6 to 10, seventh ranked radio show in the country and moving up. Do not insult his intelligence and lie.
Wait a minute. From day one,
Here we go.
This network, the biggest you-know-what stir on the 10th floor at 345 Hudson, constantly getting people to try and badmouth other people on the floor.
Pete. No.
Overnights come in the newsroom.
No.
Pete.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the best host at this network?
Huh.
Wow, on the spot.
So you say
DA.
You still complaining about Pete?
So he's
you
gonna
see it?
turn
Yeah.
and go to Pharrell
Uh-huh.
and say, Pete doesn't think you're the best host. But this is what he does. What do you think of our boss? You think they run this place well?
I never said that.
From day one, constantly. Well, come to me. and ask me these questions.
This is
trying
not-
to get me in trouble.
Why don't you complain about another host or a blue check
I
mark?
have nothing to complain. I have nothing to complain about.
I have nothing but respect for you, but I think you're being a little unfair because I never said that. You're just putting words in my mouth. You're trying to make something that make me look bad.
I'm not. That is you.
I've
from
asked
day
you
one.
one
From
time.
day one.
I've asked you one time who you think the best host is. I have a right to do that. I was a young up and coming guy. I'm trying to emulate and model myself after hosts like
but
DA.
then
I
where
can't
are
ask
you
that
turning
question.
around and bringing that information to?
Nowhere.
No, baloney.
Mark Chernoff wanted nothing to do with me.
All right. How's everybody enjoy Bob's Ball today, huh?
2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Please knock. Dan in Mechanicsburg is asleep in the Lazy Boy. The DA Show on CBS Sports Radio.
Watch us, won't you, at watchda.com or on Twitch or on YouTube. Yeah, pop up the YouTube app on your phone and go to CBS Sports Radio. Watch us every single day, and full episodes are archived there. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network said yesterday to Pat McAfee that Rihanna's halftime show could have been responsible for the slick turf. That because the set was basically the length of the field, everything under that was getting compressed over the course of the halftime, at a long halftime, half hour or so. And everything apparently pressed down the grass, and it was condensation underneath, that there was heat underneath or something like that, and created a warm, slick, pressed down grass underneath the set. And that the turf was that much worse in the second half. Now, I thought it was pretty slick in the first half as well, so I don't know what the excuse is there. The one thing that I don't like here is the blame on George Toma for his age. If you know anything about George Toma, he's one of the most respected human beings in football for half a century. He has worked on the turf at every Super Bowl. This man is called the Sod Father for a reason. He has worked on every Super Bowl turf ever, and he's 94 years old. But he's worked on Arrowhead. He's worked on Kauffman Stadium. He's worked on a number of other fields. He is the single most authority on grass playing fields. So to clown him because he's 94 years old, that somehow that's why the field was slick, is ridiculous. It's irresponsible. It's stupid. Clearly, if the guy's been doing it for 57 years, there was a different situation here. And I would blame the paint. Maybe the paint itself, there was too much paint or whatever. Maybe the paint combined with something else. Maybe the paint combined with the Rihanna stuff. Maybe something else about how the grass was grown, because he's not growing the grass all year long. He comes in to make sure 2 weeks before that it's good. I mean, the idea that it's George Toma's fault is stupid. It was not good enough. And I said this yesterday. I'm a grass snob. I think all football should be played on grass. I think if the English Premier League can play every game on grass, certainly the NFL should be able to. But even though I think that grass is mandatory, that wasn't good enough. You shouldn't have players slipping all around. But I also think in 2023, we're just desperate to complain about anything and everybody. By the way, this is Trash Tuesday. So, it's, the turf was too slick. Meantime, a guy slips in 1967. Nobody even bothers to mention it in the newspaper columns the next day. When we come back on the show, we do a little decade of DA. We turn back the clock for Valentine's Day to the day a sex therapist stopped by the studio. DA, CBS Sports Radio. The Ducks automatically get grandfathered into Team USA. I don't like that at all. And then I don't like just sprinkling in another 5 kids that are just foisted upon Gordon Bombay without tryouts.
One kid can't skate.
Yeah.
One of the kids can't skate. It's a disaster.
And by grandfathering the Ducks, you've made Averman your top center. He is soft as pudding. He can't win a draw.
Yep.
He gets pushed down on the ice. Every faceoff just pushed down on the ice. Your Team USA, you're the second favorite, and Averman can't win a damn faceoff because he's grandfathered in? Because Gordon Bombay was his coach? Think about that roster construction. That's not Mark Messier, folks. It's not Joe Sakic. It's Averman. Win a draw.
Also, the Ducks admit they haven't even been training. Gordon Bombay's like, you were supposed to be training. They go, yeah, okay, we blew it off.
Yeah, Goldberg's fat ass is eating pastrami every day at his parents' deli.
Team USA is not ready for this at all because the Ducks had no organization whatsoever. Also, they make Team USA. Charlie Conway is talking to Gordon Bombay about the jerseys. And Charlie Conway wants the team colors to be the Ducks. Hey, Conway, I got a newsflash. You're Team USA. You're red, white, and blue. I know that Conway doesn't want to be marketed. I know he doesn't want to be overly commercialized. But hey, man, you don't get to be green, purple, and white like Mighty Ducks 1. You're Team USA. You're red, white, and blue, Conway. Get it through your skull.
So, DA, this was something I had not really thought of earlier and then thought of last time when I watched it. It's in my notes here. You want to talk about Bellotti telling people to have a little pride. You're playing for your country, not some fake rec league duck team. You have the honor of putting on the red, white, and blue and USA across your chest. Everybody in that room is excited. Oh, wow, I'm representing my country. And he goes, where's my duck logo? Where's my duck logo? How about you move out of the country then? You're getting the honor. You have kids you kill for that honor, Charlie Conway? You and your hot mother too good for Team USA? You're going to wear duck uniforms? And he pushed that agenda throughout this whole run through the Goodwill gangs. Is that with ducks? Shut up! You're an American!
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Good morning.
Morning, DA. How are you?
CBS Sports Radio.
Hey, what's up, DA? Permission to enter the mothership, brother.
Ever heard a sports talk show like this before? Didn't think so.
What's going on, Dirty?
It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
DA, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great.
I'm doing great.
Happy Tuesday, boys and girls. One question only. How do you feel?
Well, I feel good, and I'm doing well.
That's all that really matters, and we thank you for being with us on this fine Tuesday morning, which is a Trash Tuesday. You can send us the trash by tweeting at me, at DA on CBS. Coming up here on the show, Cordell Stewart's going to join us. We'll talk about Super Bowl 57. I began the show talking about the fact that the Chiefs were so smart in using the Eagles' aggressive nature against them. And I know that the end of the game was dissatisfying because it comes with a penalty. But I think that there's a couple of reasons to not be disappointed or dissatisfied or feel incomplete about the end of the Super Bowl. Number one, most importantly, is the Eagles held a 10-point lead at halftime. If they can force the Chiefs into one punt, one in the second half, they win that football game. One. And they forced none. If they forced one field goal instead of a touchdown, the script is different. But instead, after halftime, in the first half in which the Eagles defense stopped the Chiefs offense to the tune of just 7 points, they let them go down the field 3 times to score 3 touchdowns and a field goal. One of those drives was a short field after the punt return. But the Eagles defense only needed one punt, one turnover, one stop in the second half. And they gave up 3 touchdowns and the field goal. Secondly, special teams bit the Eagles, something that's been a vulnerability for them all season long. And when you factor in the 3 phases of football, you have to factor in special teams. Look, if the Eagles won that football game, Butker missing the 42-yard field goal would have been a huge reason why. The punt return given up to Kadarius Toney was a big reason why the Eagles lost. That's a factor that you have control over. And then, thirdly, Mahomes said yesterday that after halftime, the Chiefs' angle was to use the Eagles' aggressive nature against them, which is how they broke open those 2 touchdown throws where nobody was on the field to play. Nobody was in the vicinity of the Chiefs. And they knew that that's who the Eagles were, and they had dissected that in the first half of the game. Andy Reid's play calling in the second half was genius, and it's why he's one of the great play callers and coaches of all time and has run one of the great offenses of all time. He picked up on that. He analyzed that, came out of the halftime, and the way they put together those drives was much better. They were able to run the football. They found space. But Mahomes said, they've got corners and linebackers that want to come up on you, really get in your face, try to jam you up, etc. We were going to use them to have them ride those guys, then cut them back the other way, use the misdirection against them. You got a guy in momentum on skates going one way, you got to try to get him going the other way. And they were able to do that on both those touchdowns and the Bradbury hold. Bradbury said it was a hold, but I thought I was going to get away with it. The Eagles had done that throughout the season. They were coached aggressively. They played aggressively. They wanted to get after you. And this Eagles defense was built on their speed and getting up and in you. And what happened? That aggressive nature beat them on Sunday because they over-pursued in a couple of plays that killed them. And Bradbury's grab, which he's played that way, so the Eagles have played that way, and they thought they would get away with it, didn't get away with it. So I don't think you can look at that flag and say that is the decider. There's a lot of things that decide it, and it was earned by the Chiefs, and it just wasn't quite good enough for the Eagles. But again, you kind of live by the sword, die by the sword. The Eagles got that far because of their aggressive nature, and the Chiefs are so brilliantly coached and can execute that they can turn that thing on you. Also, let's not forget this, and blaming officials is so reductive and simplistic because it tends to ignore all the other things that you could have done. If I told you going into this game, the Chiefs are going to score 38 points and the Eagles will have 0 sacks, who do you think wins the football game? The Eagles lived on sacking the quarterback this year. They absolutely ate other offensive lines for lunch. They had the third highest single-season sack total behind only the 80s Bears. That is the best sack team of the last 35 years. They didn't have a sack on Sunday. Well, what do you think is going to happen? So the Eagles, and this is why I give Sirianni credit, Bradbury credit, Jalen Hurts credit. None of them blame the officials. None of the Eagles did. And that's the sign of a strong internal understanding of who we are and what we have to do to win. Loser teams blame officials. Loser teams don't look within, don't want the responsibility. Winners say, it's not about the flag, it's not about the whistle, it's about what we can do to control our fate, and we weren't good enough. And all of those reasons are why. And so I appreciate the Eagles not blaming the officials. And I think when you dial it down to just that call, you miss 3.5 to 4 hours of what was a sensational football game with a lot of cool underlying stories. We like to do something around here called Decade of DA. Now we've done 10 years of radio here on CBS Sports Radio. And so we're kind of digging into the crate of the archives. And this being Valentine's Day, we have to dial back to 2015. On February 12th, 2 days ahead of Valentine's Day, February of 2015, we had on the sex therapist, had her in studio, and had her walk through how to be good to your significant other on Valentine's Day night. Let's dial up this, which was also the number 2 moment in the 12 Days of Christmas 2015, The Therapist.
On January 2nd, 2013, a new sports radio network launched. CBS Sports Radio. In the 10 years since, we've undermined the sterling reputation of CBS Sports on a daily basis. Here's another moment from the decade of DA.
Relationship therapist Elizabeth Mandel, Love Doctor NYC, joins us here in studio getting ready for Valentine's Day. So, from a standpoint of your clients come to you, they want advice, they tell you stories. Is Valentine's Day a good day for relationships to come together, or can it be a bad day because there's kind of naughtiness that could happen in the middle of it, and that kind of makes everything go kablooey?
I mean, it depends what type of naughtiness you're talking about.
Well, I would say like going outside the relationship.
Like swinging?
Not exactly what I was thinking, but
I mean, there are couples that swing.
sure, no, I realize that's a thing. Should you make a romantic to set the mood for Valentine's Day? Is that a good idea? Does that come off as desperate?
Oh,
like should you have 12 Jodeci songs in a row?
Well, if it's a rando, then the guy might not know the girl's taste. But
He definitely would not.
All right. So say they're in a relationship and a guy makes,
A sexy playlist.
A sexy play. I think that's great.
Okay.
Maybe she'll, get on top of the guy and they'll do a lap dance together. And
Right.
It'll turn into, sex play.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Bring it on. And, the symbolic roses, giving it out to people. I mean, let's just, bachelor it up,
Ryan has the problem of having to make sure his two kids get his wife something for Valentine's Day.
You want your kids to get your wife something?
In addition to myself getting or something.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you feel inadequate as a man?
There we go. Line of the night.
Wow. I'm not sure how you got there, but wow, I'm thrown off.
Sorry. Didn't mean to do
Elizabeth
that.
has thrown a lot of curveballs tonight. A lot of curveballs.
I don't even know what's going to come out of my mouth next. That's what she said.
Do you find that there are a lot of male procrastinators?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I think it can happen with women, too, that they can procrastinate if they want to give, their boyfriends gifts. A gift is reciprocal, and people should be giving each other gifts. So whether it's, here's some jewelry for sex or something. They can, it's
Does that happen?
It's consensual. It's, it's converted money. It's all kosher.
Number 2 on the 12 Days of Christmas 2015 was when Elizabeth, the sex therapist, dropped by the studio for Valentine's Day.
Unbelievable. I just tried to look her. I can't find any trail of her existence.
Shocking.
If Pete was on the board that day, how many times did she get dumped?
I would have been yelled at several times. She would have been dumped several times. And he would have been telling me one more, and I'm pulling her out of the studio. She was so super nervous, if you remember that night, about being on the air.
Extremely nervous. I don't know why she agreed to do it. She was so super nervous. And, yeah, she kind of said she couldn't control what came out of her mouth. She just was talking, and her brain wasn't quite firing. And that night, of all people doing the headlines, was Ryan Aselta, who had such a short stint as an update anchor here on CBS Sports Radio, just a couple of months, I think. So it was a rarity to have him on. And here he is. And the first thing a sex therapist says is, "Do you feel inadequate as a man?" I was like, whoa, throwing some haymakers.
And he was asking a valid question. It was shocking. And mind you, think about now where we've gotten to. That is one of our first in-studio guests.
Correct.
I mean, that is the first year we're in the evening, so we've already now left overnights. Clearly not a lot of in-studio guests in that spot. So we are just exploring this world. And you had this idea. You said, I think this will be good. And 10 minutes before, in typical DA show fashion back then, you looked at Aselta, you looked at me, and you looked at Ward and said, hey, this is going to be a free-for-all. We're all going to ask questions here. And it was like, just pepper her with stuff and let's have some fun.
Yeah, because we did overnight in 2013 and 2014. We moved to evening, 6 until 10, Gelb shift now, starting in January of 2015. So this is the first month and a half of us in a time slot where somebody could actually come in to join us in studio. And that was a hootenanny right there.
Yes, it was. She came from a PR team, by the way, too. It wasn't like we found her on the streets.
Yeah, right. She had done other radio interviews, but for some reason that day she was deer in headlights and said and gave us the now famous.
Get on top of the guy and they'll do a lap dance.
Many of us had different Valentine's days.
When we come back on the show, Cordell Stewart's going to join us. We'll talk Super Bowl 57 with him. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Those breaks in Q. Sounds like an umpire calling a weird third strike.
So it's a symphony of coughs and sneezes.
Yeah. And I think in December he goes into Christmas music tones. Seasonal.
Yeah.
Seasonal coolers. He could go for the random
Schwartz has lost it. Schwartz is crying. Schwartz is crying.
That's a good question.
I'm just picturing Jody Mack and the Chipmunks now doing a Christmas concert.
Excuse me.
Now, if y'all want to party like we do.
Schwartz has fallen off his chair and onto the floor.
Multiple storylines here.
Be careful. We need.
Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. DA with you here on CBS Sports Radio, and a happy Tuesday to you. It is a Trash Tuesday, so let us know who or what you're trashing at DA on CBS or on the phones at 855-212-4CBS. Joining us here on the show, played in a pair of AFC Championship games and a Super Bowl for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so he knows what Super Bowl week is all about, these big games. Drop it on by our friend Cordell Stewart. Cordell, good morning.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, my man. Thanks so much for joining us. I hate to ask you about officiating because it bothers me to talk about it, but I am interested. What did you think about the Bradbury flag and overall how the game was officiated?
Come on, man. I tell you what, this is just my honest, and I'm going to be as truthful, honest as I can, as positive as I can be. You can't make that call at that time because it wasn't enough to impede him, Juju, from actually getting – the ball was overthrown by at least 5 to 10 yards, at least.
Now, Mahomes said that's why it was overthrown. You don't buy that?
No, not at all. Juju's not that fast. He's got speed. He's a big kid. You know, he moves well for his size. But to say he could have caught that ball, I mean, that was in that 5-yard area. He wasn't outside the 5 yards. I thought the Chuck area, hands, being a little handsy, grab, tug, push in that 5 yards was given. But in this instance, it seems as if it mattered most to the referee to determine that call. And even knowing that it could have been a call, you still don't, with the score being tied, let it go out. I mean, just to make it a great game, because now the last taste we all have in our mouths. I know the Kansas City Chiefs fans are elated. They're really excited. They've gotten their Super Bowl again. Hats off to them. That's not the only reason. However, to allow these players to bang play, a little tug and pull and push, because it's been – I mean, there was a sack on Patrick Mahomes early in the game where he's throwing the ball and one of the defenders ran their forearm through his face mask as he's going down to the ground, and we didn't get a flag on that. So you can say, you know, what if and all that great stuff, but that one was a ticky-tack play. It was one of those that you say, I wish he wouldn't have called it, but it was a grab, it was a hold, because the natural question would be, well, did he grab him? Did he hold him? Okay, sure, but was it egregious enough to say, let's throw the flag and let the outcome of the game be determined by that one play? Because truthfully, at the end of the day, that's what we can arguably say, that we don't know for sure that field goal would have been made later on. If he don't get those extra yards, 10 or 15 yards closer to the field goal, to the end zone, I would have let it go. But considering all the data, all the slow motion skill shots that we've seen, did show him being grabbed by the jersey. So now from this day moving forward, every time we see it, we're looking for a flag. That's all I'll say. How about that?
That's fair enough. Let me ask you about the adjustments that you saw the Chiefs make in the second half offensively. First half, they only scored 7 points, missed that field goal. Second half, they go down the field 3 times, touchdown, and then field goal. What did you see from a play calling standpoint for the Chiefs in the second half?
Well, I just saw them executing. Well, one, let's just be honest, in the first half, they didn't get the ball much. Philadelphia had total control other than the fumble and it's taken back for a touchdown as far as a possession is concerned for points. But I just saw that they had more of an opportunity. And the opportunity came when they got the ball on the first drive coming out at halftime, and they scored. And it was still correct me if I'm wrong, it was still a 10-point lead even after the turnover. But I just thought the ability to get the football and start finding some form of momentum really helped them out a lot. And that's technically all it was. It was Kansas City being themselves. Patrick Mahomes, they got this beautiful route where they scored 2 touchdowns off of. It wasn't nothing special. It was just a short motion from the outside in, looking as if he's getting ready to go all the way across in motion. The defender's looking in the backfield. If any coaches are listening right now, and any former player or player is listening right now, get your eyes out of the backfield. Most times defenders, especially in the secondary, when they're covering someone, their eyes go straight to the backfield looking at the quarterback, but they never locate the target. So if he's watching the receiver go in motion and not get antsy-pantsy, if you will, anticipating him going across the formation, he would have noticed, if his eyes was on the target, which is the receiver going in motion, that he's not going all the way across. I don't think that those touchdowns happen. But if you go back and watch it, the defender is actually flying across the field, but he's looking at the quarterback. For what? Like, why? Why are we? And so plays like that was a big part of why I thought Philadelphia struggled. Most importantly, something we've seen that did not happen in this game was the pressure from the D-line. Whether it's blitzing, whether it's just the front four coming, I don't know if it's because the field was slippery, because it was. The footing wasn't as intact as we've seen it be, whether it's on the turf or even on grass, wherever they may have played, to the point where they couldn't really get any leverage. And you have to give hats off to the offensive line by Kansas City. I thought they did an outstanding job of keeping Patrick Mahomes upright. He did an excellent job considering the conversations that he's had with his ankle, being able to maneuver the way he needed to, scrambled when he had to make those plays, to get those first downs, to keep the drives going. I thought that was the big difference to me when seeing them get the ball, Kansas City that is. That was the big difference. Them being able to protect the pocket long enough, well enough to give Patrick Mahomes an opportunity, whether it be step up, move around within the soft spot, to maybe take off the scramble the few times that he did for over 10-plus yards, one almost a touchdown, another one like 25 to 30 yards scramble, big-time scramble for him, something that no one anticipates seeing happening, not knowing for sure if he could do it because of the ankle. But it's things like that. They were just making more plays. It was nothing extravagant, per se, other than them just getting the ball in at the beginning stage of the second half and just having some momentum. And but you have to appreciate Philadelphia. And the only reason I say that offensively, especially with Jalen Hurts, is so many people like to talk about his athletic ability to run, which is one of his strong suits, but yet showing that he is capable, just as any other quarterback, to be cerebral in the pocket, get on the outside, make plays with his feet if need be, but yet putting up 300 yards passing, completing 71% of his passes, which scoring 4 total touchdowns. It normally doesn't come to an ending such as this one when you're capable of putting up 35 points, against a good team like Kansas City. But when you have Patrick Mahomes in the back that could actually come back from any deficit, it's pretty remarkable, to say the least, to see him get it done the way he did, and rightfully so. The MVP of the league actually showed why he is the MVP of the league and also the MVP of Super Bowl 57.
Cordell Stewart joins us this morning here on the DA Show. I'm glad you brought up Jalen Hurts, because I've been really impressed by him ever since he got into the league, but really ever since he transferred away from Alabama, knowing that he had to go somewhere else to try to kind of get his starting job back. And what you see from Hurts from a maturity, personality standpoint this year, not only during the success, but also in the wake of the failure after the Super Bowl and things that he said on Sunday night?
Well, watching him in Alabama, he's just a very mature young man. He ran into a juggernaut, so to speak, in Alabama. And one of my friends back home, we had this conversation, and at the time, I said Tua was a better quarterback. And the reason I did say it at that time, not saying overall he's a better quarterback, it's just what Alabama needed at the time when the switch was made, was getting the ball out of the hands much faster. And Tua Tagovailoa was capable of doing that, which then end up leading them to win the national championship. Okay, then the hand was dealt the next year to give it back to Jalen Hurts to actually win the SEC championship game, and the rest was history as you went on to see what happened when he went to Oklahoma, having a chance to be second in the Heisman Trophy race, doing the same things in Oklahoma that he did in Alabama. Not saying that he wasn't good enough at that time, but you got to remember, we're talking about Nick Saban. He has pretty much all 5-star athletes. So have to go to the bench for a span of time to then ask to come off of it to actually catapult the team into winning a championship and to do the role play the role that most may not be able to do it, to then see him evolve in Oklahoma to now into the National Football League. What more can you say about the young man? And it's crazy how we have a tendency to try to sometimes marginalize, right? Because he's so athletic, he's so strong. It's not the conventional way of playing a position, similar to what happened with me in Pittsburgh. I had a little bit more because I was catching it, and there's no way possible you can catch the ball that good and actually go out and be an MVP on your team, fourth on the MVP ballot in the National Football League as a quarterback and going to the Pro Bowl. Jalen Hurts proven, just like the Troy Aikmans when first coming in the league, I think only winning one game in his first year. I think Peyton Manning having a chance to come in his first year, winning only one game. You see all the Hall of Famers in this. Steve Young's, when he went to Tampa Bay, how horrible he was in the sense of running first as opposed to throwing first. So then I think having to go to USFL and then having a great opportunity to sit behind Joe Montana in the Bill Walsh West Coast style system. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. With Doug Peterson, he gets in there. All of a sudden they take him out for someone else. We get the new coach to come in last year. In the second year, what happens? He goes to the playoffs. He loses against Tampa Bay, coming from behind to have a chance to win it. And then this year, he goes to a Super Bowl. For me, enough is enough when it comes to can a mobile quarterback get it done. That's the lay of the land. That's the way the game is going to be played. He did it both ways, and he did it with his arm as opposed to with his feet. I just think we need to applaud that style of play because look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he had 11 interceptions, 11 fumbles, recovered 2, but yet understanding Andrew Luck. He tried the same thing, running too much, ended up causing him to retire a little bit sooner because of the injuries. It's not easy to be able to play the game that way. You have to have it between the ears and the physicality to be able to sustain that type of play, and that's what Jalen Hurts has been able to do and prove. It's just as simple as that. And to get to a Super Bowl, and with those numbers, those are numbers that says you win the Super Bowl when playing this way. It just so happened the defense didn't give him what he needed in order to actually get to the next level. But if you don't get it done, and you don't get it done at the hands of Patrick Mahomes, I think we all can sit back and say, you know what? I understand why they end up losing that game and Kansas City ended up winning it. But it had nothing to do with Jalen Hurts not being able to do enough. I think he did more than I anticipated seeing, not knowing for sure how it was going to go. I was just nervous to see it, even for Patrick Mahomes. But I think it was a game and a battle that was second to none, probably one of the better Super Bowls. I know my Falcons friends that are here in Atlanta are not going to like this, but since that New England Patriots and Falcons game, being down 28-3 and seeing Tom Brady beat Tom Brady, it was one of those kind of games. Kept you on your heels and biting your nails the entire time. And Jalen Hurts gave an outstanding run at it. And guess what? I think I heard there was some conversations about a new contract, possibly. Let's sit back and talk about how big that money's going to look like for Jalen Hurts, someone that's been questioned and doubted, and the guy just steadily keep handling himself extremely well after the game. His conversation was more about how guys are going to handle it, the agony. He said it was the word, the wordsmith of. He was the wordsmith of an interview in that one. It was so poised, so articulate, very well said, with emotions but understanding, and knowing how he's going to use those moments for himself, and hoping the guys around him can use that as a stepping stone to know what they have moving forward, because he did it in his third year, and it was pretty remarkable to see for the Philadelphia Eagles in knowing what they have coming back.
Yeah, special guy Jalen Hurts erased a lot of doubts this season. Cordell Stewart was the AFC Offensive Player of the Year, Pro Bowler, led his team to a couple of AFC Championship games, and his book, Truth, The Cordell Stewart Story, is available right now. Real cool purchase. Warmer weather is coming. Pick up a book maybe. Check it out. It's a great story. Truth, The Cordell Stewart Story. You can Amazon it right now. Cordell, always good to talk to you, buddy. Thanks so much, and thanks for jumping on throughout the entire football season. It was always greatly appreciated. I love our conversations.
Hey, with basketball coming up, if you want to talk about LeBron, we can do that. Anybody else, I'm in trouble. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Thanks, Slash. Appreciate it, man.
Always.
Okay, Cordell Stewart joining us this morning here on the show. It is a Trash Tuesday as well, and so we've got trashes to get to here on the program. So hit me up at DA on CBS for some of those. At the moment, Bogues has headlines.
DA, it took weeks and roughly 473 interviews, but the Colts finally have a head coach, and it's not Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen is the choice. He just finished his second season with Philly.
I like that.
After 5 with the Chargers, the Eagles expected to promote QB coach Brian Johnson to replace Steichen.
I don't know if I love Steichen, but I definitely didn't like Saturday, and so that's a step up. The fact that Jim Irsay didn't win the Jeff Saturday standoff is a good thing for the Colts organization.
Yeah, but I wonder, are we now doing you didn't have to talk to Sean McVay thing? You got to talk to Nick Sirianni to get a job? Is that the new thing?
Perhaps.
So this leaves the Cardinals as the only team without a head coach. They are not expected to hire Eric Bieniemy, which will leave him without a head coaching gig once again. Andy Reid said this about his OC yesterday.
Eric Bieniemy has been tremendous for us, and I think is tremendous for the National Football League. And I'm hoping he has an opportunity to go somewhere and do his thing where he can run the show and be Eric Bieniemy.
There is a fundamental problem, though, with Eric Bieniemy. He is interviewed for a lot of jobs, hasn't gotten them. We don't necessarily know why. Some rumors have been that he's just not a very good interviewee, and that there's also concerns that he doesn't run the offense, that it's Andy Reid that calls the plays. But the fact is, if Eric Bieniemy left today for Washington to run their offense, do we think that the Chiefs in any way, shape, or form would suffer?
No.
No, that's the problem. That you could take away Eric Bieniemy and nobody would think that they'd be any worse for it.
And
so I think that factors into why he doesn't get jobs.
It does, but is that more about Andy Reid fixing the problem than Eric Bieniemy being replaceable?
I think it's both of those things. I think, yes, Reid can fix a lot. Mahomes can cover up a lot of warts. But if you don't think that Bieniemy is crucial to the Chiefs' success, then you don't give him credit for the Chiefs' success, which is why I think he hasn't had a job.
Tyreek Hill was still awesome with Tua this year as opposed to Mahomes, and the Chiefs still won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. So I think it's tough to judge the whole Chiefs circle like that. It doesn't mean he can't be great.
Whether it's fair or not, I just think that's the perception that hurts him.
Right. And also, you have a weird now track record with the Andy Reid guys where Peterson won a Super Bowl, is now in stop number 2 and doing great things, but Nagy was a disaster. So, you know what I mean? Coming from that OC position with Kansas City, there's a track record of both being great on your own without Kansas City and terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he probably should be a head coach by now, but it would help Bieniemy to run his own offense. And as DA just mentioned, he's interviewing for at least a Washington job in the near future. Michigan State men's basketball will not host Minnesota tomorrow night. The school has canceled all classes and activities for 48 hours following last night's mass shooting at 2 locations on campus. 3 people killed, 5 others injured. The alleged shooter is a 43-year-old man with apparently no affiliation to the university. We're told he took his own life after a manhunt. And then there's the hazing scandal on the heels of a player being involved in a fatal shooting in December at New Mexico State men's basketball. The school canceled the rest of their season Sunday. The WAC yesterday decided that the Aggies' 6 remaining games are just simply forfeits. The entire coaching staff is now on paid leave because of this hazing allegations. A redacted police report says 3 players physically and sexually assaulted a teammate multiple times, most recently earlier this month. Multiple players have since entered the transfer portal. Now back to the games where Texas Tech upset number 6 Texas last night, 74-67, after beating number 12 Kansas over the weekend. Then 9th-ranked Baylor down to West Virginia, 79-67, to tie those Longhorns atop the Big 12. Kyrie Irving scored 36, including 26 in the fourth quarter alone, but he lost his Dallas debut, 124-121 to the T-Wolves, then went full Kyrie postgame when asked about staying with the Mavs long term.
I would love to just had a respect of
you guys and everybody the rest of the season are just like continuously asking me that, because it just puts unwarranted distractions on us and our team. And I've dealt with it before, and it's very emotionally draining.
Kyrie also said he'd love to be loved by everyone, but knows that's not in the cards. The Mavs, by the way, 0-2 when he and Luka Doncic play. The Blazers knocked down 23 threes. Damian Lillard scored 40 in a 127-115 home win over the Lakers. LeBron remains out with that sore left ankle. He has not played since ending the scoring mark last week. The Nuggets snapped the Heat's 8-game home win streak, 112-108. The Knicks outscored the Nets 124-106 to snap a 9-game skid in that series. The Sixers down the Rockets 123-104 behind 28 points and 10 assists from James Harden. And the Spurs lost in Cleveland 117-109, matching the longest losing streak in team history at 13 games. And finally on ice, Ottawa rallied past Calgary 4-3. Tim Stützle, the overtime ending man. DA, back to you.
Stützle.
Incognito Man is trashing his boss, who took off yet another personal overseas trip right during the time we have to negotiate with other divisions in our company for next year's budget. So hashtag trash him.
Ooh, that garbage bag is leaking.
Big Lara says, DA, I'm sorry I'm going to have to trash you. While I agree with your take on the officials, I recall last year you being critical of the refs in the Rams' last drive. He says, if I'm correct, you said you haven't called that all game, so why insert yourself now? Hashtag I heard you wrong.
We're eroding.
The difference was I had a problem with that last drive because the officials called 3 consecutive penalties on the Bengals on 3 consecutive plays inside the 10-yard line. It was 3rd and goal, and the Bengals were going to get off the field with just a field goal attempt given up in a 20-16 game, okay, or force a 4th down. It's a one-possession game. They get called on defensive holding, gives the Rams a fresh set of downs. 1st and goal from the 4. We've got unnecessary roughness called on the Bengals. On 1st and goal, defensive pass interference called to the Bengals. That, to me, was overboard. They whistled. They kept the whistle in their pockets all day long. And then on crucial to goal possession, 3 consecutive plays, they called 3 shaky calls all against the same team. I can't get by with that. No, that deserved criticism. Not the same as Bradbury getting the whistle, getting the flag on Sunday. When we come back, more trashes, advanced analytics, and an epic fail. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Passing gas as a way to pass time. Take that, Ben Franklin. Sometimes the Bayou Bear will ask me why I stare out into the sunset every night. I guess I just miss my dips.
Morgan Freeman narrating the internal monologue of Mraz's life. It's the pork shank redemption.
That I want to gather my words. That I'm the most stunned to a news I've been on this show ever. I don't know how you just pulled that off and how you kept that. That was a secret. That's one of the most incredible things we've ever aired on the show. Like I need to listen again later and just appreciate. That's unbelievable.
Your head was spinning around like you were in The Exorcist as it was airing.
Because I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you just did that. But to be able to tell my family that somehow you got Morgan freaking Freeman to do this, and the only thing I could assume is that somehow his talent agencies with yours, it's the only connecting dot. I'm in awe. That's he referenced Bob's Bar. That is so unbelievable.
Morgan Freeman referenced an oopsie.
Right. I can see his sense of humor getting that, but the sisters that hate me, that is I cannot wait if my family's not listening to play that for my family. That is Like I'm honestly, I'm like my heart's fluttering.
He must be from West Babylon.
How about he mentioned your mom and Fartgate?
You can actually see the tears welling up in my eye right now. That's like so. I know it's like meant to be funny. That's so like that's awesome, man. How did you do that?
When I was writing that script, I was just dying laughing the entire time, thinking this is what Morgan Freeman's going to be reading. He's going to be reading Mraz's life. Mraz is now. Can we zoom in at watchda.com as Mraz?
Stop! It's like I'm in this place between I have to appreciate how funny that was to I think that means so much more to me than you guys realize.
For Morgan Freeman to make fun of you?
But the idea that you did that, like it's a great bit idea, and clearly you owed somebody some favors, but that's something like I'll always be able to play, like even in the laughs and just like I appreciate that. That's a cool moment. That's a really cool moment.
I wonder if Morgan Freeman stopped and was like, I'm not going to do this. He did it all. He wrote the whole script.
Probably several times.
I'm going to feel bad. Did you have to pay him to do that?
I did not have to pay. No, I did not have to pay.
How did you like that? Should have been the lead Monday. Forget week 18. That should have been the cold open, and we did 4 hours on it. How are we burying that after Shep today?
Mraz's eyes are red. He is rubbing them right now.
It's Morgan Freeman. He's the voice of everything.
Pork Shank Redemption.
He probably thought it was better than Shawshank Redemption.
I have no words. I don't have words.
I just love the image of Morgan Freeman getting that script across his desk and being like, I've got to read this.
Multi-million-dollar movies and then this.
One of the most respected and revered actors of all time. And he has to read a script about Mraz's oops.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
No one knows what analytics is. They think it's like a bunch of nerds doing math, which I don't know, maybe that's what it is.
It's time now for the Mothership's Advanced Analytics.
Do you think you could ever convince your significant other to have your wedding on the court at halftime of an NBA game? Last night, this happened in Dallas, where apparently she said yes. Let's do it at the game. And so we are asking you guys if you think you could convince your fiance of this. Now, data tells us that over 2 million couples got married in 2022. The longest recorded wedding ceremony ever was 91 days. 91 days! And according to experts, couples who get married between the ages of 28 and 32 far more likely to stay together for the long haul. I've heard this, that the older that you are, if you wait to get married, your better chances are. Younger you are, easier for divorce. So that's why Mraz got married at 20 years old.
Jeez. Yeah, and then you just start gaining animals.
By the way, a new animal in the house, huh? How'd it go for night 2?
Well, yesterday I came home to dog diarrhea all over the cage and the floor, so it was good, man. Things are going well at home. Apparently he has a parasite, we found out.
Oh, wow. By the way, the poll told us that 90% of you say, no, there is no way I could convince my significant other to get married at halftime of an NBA game. Let's get to your epic fail of the morning, boys and girls. And we were going over Schwartz's Super Bowl spread, and there's still an unidentified potato dish, it appears. Here it is, your epic fail.
Even the DA show is not perfect. We know. Shocking. Here's the epic fail.
Sandwiched between the mac and cheese and the corn is a bowl of something that is a tan beige. It seems to be smooth and creamy, but also chunky at the same time. It has no discernible food item in it, and we still are stumped.
Ethnic, I think they call it foods.
I think that's right. Mraz, you studied the film yesterday for how many minutes?
56 total minutes. I ended up clocking myself, and I had to walk away before it was an hour. And this was in 2 sessions. I had to break it up.
Glad you saved those 4 minutes.
Look, and I think this one is worth discussing.
56 total minutes. Mraz studied this one dish and still doesn't know what it is.
It's a hard candy. And I need to caution everybody because I think everybody's immediate reaction is going to yell, mashed potatoes, mashed potatoes, mashed potatoes. Which I do understand. If you just associate the barbecue foods around, common sense would tell you by default maybe it is mashed potatoes.
Doesn't sound delicious.
But if those are mashed potatoes, we need a ring light hired for those mashed potatoes. Because they ain't the mashed potatoes I've ever seen in my life. That's rough looking. I mean, they're not even lumpy enough or creamy enough to go one way or another on mashed potatoes. The color really bothers me. The color scheme here is a problem.
Brown. Because, mashed potatoes are white, or at least creamy looking. These are a beige tan, which you can create with if you skin on, I guess.
Even if you're fat.
But again, it looks both smooth and chunky. It really looks unappetizing, but I don't know if I can believe that's mashed potatoes.
Scoring at home, 56 minutes on this. 53 combined lifetime minutes at school for Sean. So this has now jumped ahead of that as well. I'm sticking with what I originally suggested on Sunday, DA, because everything else is like the worst looking version.
There's always dog poop everywhere.
Of said food. I think this is some kind of misfit, like German potato salad.
Bingo.
Epic fail, you loser.
That
is why you fail.
Epic fail. German potato salad. No, try just really bad colored, poor quality mashed potatoes. What do they say? Usually the easiest answer is the correct answer. Don't overthink it. Daniel tweets, I'm trashing the Super Bowl commercials teasing the full movie trailer online. Scan this code, scan that code. Find the full roast online. I remember when Super Bowl commercials were actually commercials. Hashtag Trash Tuesday.
That's a dumpster dive.
And we liked it. Fully, Ohio is trashing Norfolk Southern. Their train accident and chemical fire bombed Northeast Ohio and Western PA with cancerous chemicals. Fish are dead in the water. Livestock is dying. I'm sure people will get cancer, but hey, they've got cash. That's all that matters. Hashtag go directly to jail.
So frustrating.
Yeah, that one was brutal. That train accident is just awful. All these toxic chemicals. There had to be a controlled burn. It was bad. Aaron tweets, I'm trashing myself for taking 5th place in my own family on playoff picks. I lost to a 14 and an 8-year-old. Guess I taught them well. Hashtag special stuff. Hashtag come on, man.
Illegal dumping.
Carla with a K is trashing Aaron Rodgers for not understanding what it means to go away and what it means to go dark. He's going on McAfee's show today. Also, maybe the mashed potato spuds had gravy mixed in. Hashtag you need tweet like this. Hashtag it's dark 30.
That's just offensive.
Richard tweets, oh my God, didn't notice the Schwartz spread was displayed on top of the recliner. Guess they ran out of tables with their 2 guests.
That's just offensive.
Art Bobart, I'm trashing the last 3 minutes of the Super Bowl. I get that it was smart football, but I'm not here for smart. I want entertaining. A good game brought down by a dull finish, and Rihanna sucked. Trash Tuesday.
Are those maggots?
Ragnar Razorback is too funny. He tweets at Schwartz, can you help settle a debate with my friend? Did you have fish sticks on your Super Bowl spread?
Come on.
A debate with
my friend.
Amos is trashing the grits in Waffle House this morning, clumpy and stuck together. Come on, it's Valentine's Day. Show your boys some love, ladies.
That's just human filth.
Romantic start.
I wouldn't mind some Waffle House grits to get my start today. Valentine's Day start. The sloppy salami is trashing Mraz as a fellow fatty. How does he not know how to clean a wing? How does it happen? Hashtag not in this house.
That's just human filth.
I think maybe he watched your video when you were crushing the wings this morning.
Can Cap just let me eat in peace? Yes, I didn't clean every bone. Excuse me, with breakfast wings.
Not Connor Green is trashing Mraz for trashing Rob of the 321, who trashed Bob the Deli Man. Yes, Rob of the 321 wants attention, but he's the biggest enabler. He's no better than Danielle.
That's a dumpster dive.
That you're enabling Rob of the 321 by giving him the attention that he looks for.
Do I read the tweets, or does DA from the DA show read the tweets?
Squishy Liquids trashing the guy who forgot it was an inversion table. What? The guy could remember how to do skull crushers but didn't know that thing that you strap to your feet and lean back on goes back? Is his skull crushed too? Trash him.
I still thought it was a conversion table, but what do I know?
All right. Thanks to Sean Mraz, executive producer. Thanks to Pete the Body Bellotti on the Wheels of Steel and audio director. Thanks to Andrew Kaplan, the Wizard of Watch DA, and Andrew Bogush on your headlines. Tomorrow is the first ever Schwartz Super Bingo. Be here for it. Be good and be good to one another. I'm DA. We will see you tomorrow. The Mothership disconnects.